I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
You know, he seems like the kind of guy who really, appreciates that kind of thing. Hey, you know what? It's actually been pretty nice. I don't think we've crashed since early on in the new what do you call it?
I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
You know, he seems like the kind of guy who really, appreciates that kind of thing.
I don't know what you're going for, dude.
Hey, you know what? It's actually been pretty nice. I don't think we've crashed since early on in the new.
Can't just stop
I think we're both coming through. Sorry.
Sentence, dude.
Oh, I do that a lot. Sorry, I was like, appreciates that kind of thing.
I don't know what you're going for.
Sound on the. Hey, you know what? The podcast, so that we were actually coming through.
Oh, gotcha.
And it just happened to load up right then, so I stopped because I was happened to be right like the thing.
All right, man.
Have a great Thursday. Somebody put that in one of the Discords. I might need to leave that Discord.
Whoa! What happened? Somebody joined.
Somebody joined in?
I joined.
Ah, it's Samaj. I haven't heard from you in a while, man. What's going on?
That was Canada, dude. The Republic of Canada.
Kanakistan is doing quite interestingly. We have a new conservative leader, and already he's fucking shaking things up in the world, and it's pretty good.
Oh, you guys already got your new conservative leader. I mean, because Italy got that too. I didn't know if it was going to happen for you guys anytime soon.
Well, no, we don't have the leader. What happened is that the leader of the Conservative Party has finally been decided, and he's an actual conservative, unlike the last two leaders, which are like liberal lights. So this guy, he's actually doing shit, and Trudeau is pretty much he's pretty much making Trudeau his bitch, and it's pretty awesome.
Nice.
So, I mean, a lot of things are like, okay, pretty much by this weekend, all restrictions are going to get lifted. So that's good. That's what I like to hear. The only problem is that the Emergency Act is still in order, so he can bring them back at any moment.
Oh, that's kind of a problem. Yeah.
It is, but I don't think that he will, because the conservative leader is so fucking popular right now. Everyone loves him.
Oh, yeah. Well, and look at what happened in Italy, so he's got to be feeling nervous as fuck.
Yeah. So at any moment, the conservatives can do a vote of no confidence and then force us into another election. And because he's so popular, he's going to win. He's definitely going to win. So Trudeau has to, he's got to be walking on eggshells because he's been doing shit that nobody likes. Not to mention, one of his, I don't remember which minister it was on the Liberal side, but we've been having problems with drug dealers and fentanyl and all that kind of shit. Literally, the guy in charge of dealing with it, he said, "Well, we can't actually act on all this because the drug dealers are just trying to make a living." I'm like, "Are you serious?
Are you fucking serious? Well, just trying to make a living. You're fucking retarded. All right.
Yeah, cool. I guess hitmen. They're just trying to make a living too. We can go ahead and stop prosecuting them as well.
Yeah. Oh, apparently that law in Indiana decided to not go through.
Which one?
Where they were going to take away all the penalties for everything up to like murder too.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Nobody had to post bail up to fucking second-degree murder.
Not only that, they wouldn't arrest you, and you wouldn't even necessarily face charges in any of those situations. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
Sounds like they're trying to turn it into like a New York 2.0. That's insane. Holy shit.
It's almost gotten to the point where, I don't know if either of you are familiar with it, but there was a sketch that the kids all did back in the day where Dave Foley was basically playing the judge. And when they would plead innocent, you'd be like, "Oh, okay, you're free to go." And they're like, "What do you mean free to go?" And they're like, "Well, no, he seems like a stand-up guy. He says he's innocent. That's good enough for me."
Oh my God, that's like Welcome to California and New York and LA and every other fucking liberal hellhole.
Yeah, that one guy in New York
seems like a nice enough guy. I don't know what you're complaining about.
and he didn't have to post bail. Like, he got arrested that many fucking times.
Oh,
And because of
God.
the bail reform, dude, he just never had to post bail, and they just kept letting him out.
Oh, Jesus. Like, how many times you gotta let that go before somebody steps in, man? Holy shit.
Well, it's at least 47, apparently.
At least 47. Thank you. All right.
It's clearly more than 46, or however fucking many times he got arrested.
More than you would
At least
expect.
one more than that.
For sure.
Yeah. You would think once or maybe twice would be enough, but
Yeah, oh, for sure.
this guy, 47 times strong, dude.
God damn. Yeah, you would think once would be plenty. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you've ever played Slime Rancher, Samaj or Deitois, but the sequel is now out in alpha.
Yeah, I can't recall ever even hearing of that. So no, I have definitely not played. What's it called? Slam Rancher?
Slime Rancher.
Slime Rancher. Oh,
so
that sounds awful.
You're running around with a vacuum gun and you raise and harvest slimes.
Yeah. So it's. I'm guessing the gameplay is a lot better than it sounds.
Oh, it's a
terrible.
really fun game. I enjoyed the hell out of the first one. It is one of the better games out there, but it's sort of like it's just super cartoony and casual.
Yeah, I gotcha.
It's not a.
So what's it similar to? Is it like similar to like a Plants vs Zombies thing, or fucking?
You know what? The feel of the art style is very Plants vs Zombies.
Yeah. Is that the type of gameplay it is?
It's kind of silly and fun. Yeah, it's not real hard to play. It's real easy. There's no real
good
bad consequences or anything. Like I think if you fall into the ocean or something, which is really really hard to do, you lose whatever you had on you at the time, and everything is replaceable. Like there's no there's no items that if you lose are gone forever kind of thing. You can get more.
All right.
It's like a fun game to play when you're just relaxing and having a just a peaceful, cozy day at home or something.
Sounds interesting.
I'm still curious. Like, is there any chance of Trudeau being taken out of office, or does that dude just fucking own Canada? Is he like the king?
Well, it's possible that because he's really unpopular right now, and it's. But then again, a lot of people thought he was really unpopular last election too, so it's kind of hard to say. I was surprised that he got in last time.
Do you think voter fraud, or do you think
no?
You don't think that's a real issue in that
no.
regard?
Well, okay, there was some concern similar to your guys' last election with voting machines, but like it was such a big deal here in Canada that because I was a bit surprised you guys were using the Dominion voting machines because we stopped using those a long time ago because we know they're unreliable, and so when you guys used them when you used them in the last election, we're like, why? What? That's a shitty move. Never use voting machines. I'll tell you that much. Never use them.
Interesting. So at least you guys are not using the same shitty voting machines. That's kind of cool. That's got to be nice.
Yeah, which is funny because
more confidence in your elections being at least more fair than ours for certain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not overly concerned about voter fraud. So the demographics here in Canada are kind of weird because the majority of the population lives in cities. Have a lot of farm people out here, which is stupid because we probably should be doing that. But the problem with being in the big cities is that the big cities tend to have a lot more liberal socialist views, which is disturbing as fuck. That's just the way it is. So the majority of your population are in the cities, and that's sort of how you get it. So it's entirely possible that if an election gets called, that Trudeau might win again. It depends on how things go, and it could be that the reason why all these restrictions are getting lifted because he knows at any moment an election is going to get called, so he's trying to curry as much favor as he can.
Oh yeah. If he's not getting rid of the elections or the stuff now, it'll be gone anyway, and he'll be gone too. So it's like, oh, I better ditch it now and make everybody think I did it because I wanted to.
Well, and the other thing is that not everyone is paying attention to local news because of the whole Ukraine stuff. A lot of people are listening to that, and
Yeah,
especially
true,
people.
yeah. Especially
Yeah.
with Putin talking about throwing out some fucking nukes.
Yep. So, and I mean, like the restrictions have been eased for a while, and so not many people realize that a lot of them are still in place, and not everyone can afford to travel right now. So there's a good portion of the population doesn't even know that there's all these travel restrictions.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, like if you had to travel, it's horrible. Now, granted, some things can't be avoided, like the congestion in the airports. It's pretty noticeable. Not everyone can really say they never heard anything about it because it's fucking international news. Hell, I heard that Japan was covering how bad our airports were here in Canada. Because we have legendarily, we used to have really fantastic airports. Now not so much.
Is it mostly just the fucking travel restrictions, or is it like other stuff going on too, like just businesses like airlines shutting down and just not having enough business? Because I mean, I'm sure they lost a fucking ton of money over like the last couple of years, like all the airlines.
Canada implemented this thing where you have to use this app in order to travel. It's called the ArriveCan app, and what it is it keeps track of your vaccination status and passport and stuff. So the idea was you can just scan your phone with the app and then you're good to go. Well, the problem with that is that it's not always the most accurate, and it didn't work as well as intended. Not to mention, you have to always have it on, even if you're not traveling.
Well, it's not like anybody would ever lie about any of this, right? I mean...
Well, people went in and they did some studies on because they looked at how the app operates, and turns out what it would do is it collects all your information on your phone and sends it off to the government, and then
everybody wants that. Yeah, like I know I wouldn't be interested in that. I wouldn't ride on whatever airline required me to have a fucking phone app that sends all my data to the fucking government.
Exactly. So the ArriveCan app kept track of all your information, sent it off to the government, and apparently we found that the government, in order to generate revenue, because we're practically bankrupt here in Canada,
sold it to fucking corporations for a premium.
Exactly. So they sold out all that private information.
That's so surprising.
Yep.
No one would ever have expected it to end up going to the corporations. That's so weird.
Yep. So
fucking slimeball motherfuckers.
Oh, but we can trust the government. But yeah, the app doesn't quite work as intended, and it just keeps track of everything. And there's a bit of a bureaucracy, because the other thing with our airports is that you need to get tested for COVID before you can board the plane. So there's the test to take beforehand. And then they have the rapid test that you have to do at the airport. You are required to do it before you can hop on the plane.
And those things are notoriously fucking inaccurate. Like, let's be clear. Like, you're really likely to get false positive on those if the person who's doing it doesn't know how to do it right.
Well, and not to mention, I mean, like the false, because they send a bunch of those tests out to families. So, like when the school year starts, you can test your kid before they go back to school.
Yeah.
And parents were wondering, so they ran out. A bunch of parents have been doing their own little tests with these kits. So, like I can't remember. That they're like
alien, what 40 or 50% accurate.
Well, what they've been doing is they tested like what if there was like food residue in your kid's mouth. So they were trying it with different foods like yogurts. I think it was the yogurt. But
yeah. So like if there's peanut butter, that makes perfect sense. That's actually really smart.
Yeah. So a lot of parents have been. Oh yeah. So a lot of parents did that, and I don't remember what the list was, but like yogurt is like, as far as I can tell, it's like 40% positive if you eat yogurt before you take your test or whatever. And you can tell the kids, well, don't eat. Well, good luck with that. Kids are fucking notorious for finding like little bits of food and storing it on them.
Oh yeah, no, there's no way you're gonna get children to stop eating.
Yeah, so they're doing all this, and I'm like, oh fuck, all right, fine, I guess. So, and But yeah, what they would do is they do those rapid tests before you can hop on the airplanes, and it takes so long to do. They're like, rapid. It doesn't take too long, but if you're doing it for like a couple hundred people just to board a plane, it takes a while, and it did take a while.
Well, it's I believe it's 10 minutes minimum for every test.
Mm-hmm. And they want you there.
Lines.
Yep, and they want you there like they used to be. They want you there like 4 to 5 hours early before your flight in case of delays or whatever. Now they want you to be there 7 to 10 hours before your flight. Like that's practically a day. Yep.
4 to 5 hours is ridiculous, dude.
Well, they do that because of delays and whatnot, which do happen. Like when I went to Mexico, I went, okay, it's annoying, but I'm like, whatever. But now you want you to do 7 to 10 hours before your flight? That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. But that's what they asked.
God damn, that's pretty nutty.
Yeah, but just to take a flight. But yeah, so like flights were delayed so much that some flights had to be canceled. Not because they didn't have passengers, but because they couldn't get the passengers on the plane. Because it was taking too long to do it, and then they were running out of time. They got delayed. They got backed up. Other flights have to take off too. So yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. So and what really sucks, because you know that hurricane that's going on right now. Apparently, it's hitting parts of like Nova Scotia and Quebec here in Canada, and so we need to get like people down there to help them out. There was even some U.S. There's even some U.S. rescue people who wanted to come over and help out, but the government still has that RavCan app set up. It ends like this weekend, but it's still there now, and so people had to be fully vaccinated in order to get in there to help and save lives.
Oh, that's the part that matters. Don't fucking forego the stupid nonsense for fucking life. You know, people being in like danger of life and limb. Just fucking. Christ, what a fucking ridiculous. Oh, we better make sure the COVID tests are in before we go out and save people who are in an emergency. Because that's right. The thing that's fucking dangerous right now.
So it caused huge delays, and people couldn't get in there to save it. So the damage is way greater than it had to be. Because
I imagine.
And everyone's like, "You're scrapping it by the weekend. Just do away with it already." No. It still has to be there. Just ridiculous.
That's insane. That's fucking crazy pants.
Yep. So, luckily it's finally gone, but I mean, like, people are going to remember this. And I certainly hope they remember this when they go out and vote.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that hopefully they remember that at that time, because that's the part that really makes a difference. It's like... Yep. As long as they remember at the polls when it really matters, that's the part.
Well, and so part of me that worries is because some of the people who don't agree with everything that's going on, like the people who are liberal voters and NDP is the Socialist Party here in Canada. Yeah, we have that. The people who vote for them are like, you know, lifelong like liberal voters, and I'm like, I hope they consider all this, and some of them are kind of tribal, where they don't really want to change their worldview. They like voting that stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you may not like conservatives, but you can't just be blind to all the shit that's been going on.
Yeah, well, and how are you going to say, like, do I really believe that you actually have a problem with what's going on if you continually vote for the same people that do the same things that you supposedly have a problem with? No, not really. I don't believe you. Like,
yeah.
If what the conservatives were doing was something I didn't like, I wouldn't fucking vote for them.
That's right.
You know, it's like, I'm not voting independent either because I don't trust the independent party to do shit. Like, they're terrible.
Well, and also, do they have the numbers to make a difference? I do believe, like, independent parties and third parties can make a difference, but whether or not they can of it. Like, there's another party out here called the People's Party of Canada that been doing pretty okay. Like, I agree with what they do, but they're so unknown that they've been around for a couple of years. They've been saying that, like, no more Trudeau and all that stuff. They haven't made a difference. They're too small, and the minorities. Like, if you really hate the parties that are currently in office, maybe, but most people don't know them. They have no idea that they exist. Not to mention, it didn't help the last couple of elections that Justin Trudeau wouldn't let him engage in the debates because he's kept saying he's a racist and we don't let racists, hold positions of power in this country. I'm like, just because you call him a racist doesn't mean that he is.
Well, not only does it not mean that he's a racist, it also doesn't mean that you should have the option not to have to debate a political opponent.
Yeah, I think you shouldn't be, getting rid of your political opponents.
That's like just literally silencing without even the slightest question as to whether or not that should be legal. That's insane.
Nick, are you driving?
Yeah.
You sound surprisingly better. You get like a new phone?
Nope.
Because usually you make a lot of background noise. All right.
Yeah, same crappy headset and everything, dude.
Oh, something's changed. I don't know what. Maybe Discord had an update and did their. I don't know.
Discord.
Yeah.
You're just trying to cause problems, aren't you? Discord
always causes trouble. So yeah, I think that's all. I will say, the guy in charge of the Conservative Party here in Canada, his name is Pierre Poilievre, but the nickname is he's going to be Prime Minister PP. Mr. PP, Pierre Poilievre. So we've been talking about PP jokes. Let me tell you, when he gets in charge here, he's going to bring in that big PP power here in Canada.
Big PP power. There you go. That's what we want. That's what we want on this show.
We need big dick energy. So you vote for the PP.
I mean that fucking. There's nobody in chat. Okay, cool. Just double checking there. The lady in Italy apparently has a giant fucking clitoris and just drags on the fucking ground behind her as she walks.
I've been hearing that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I love that everybody's like, we don't want her in charge. Well, I thought you wanted women in positions of power, but not if they don't think like us. Like, all right, cool.
There was like an article talking about how that women's rights are going to be abolished now that a woman's in charge. Like, what?
Somebody actually wrote that shit down on purpose? That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I think it was a translation thing, but I mean, like, it even if it was translated,
we don't have rights anymore because a woman's in charge. That doesn't, like, does anybody believe you anymore at that point? Like, come on now, it's just fucking
disingenuous fucks. Let me tell you.
Yeah, oh yeah, the level of fucking dishonesty at this point is pretty fucking crazy.
It's a little hard not to acknowledge.
It's like, I don't know, man, like the legal stuff that's going on, like all these places are trying to, like, pass laws and stuff that essentially just allow basically every crime you can imagine, like, just carte blanche. Fucking kill people, rape people, kidnap them, it's all good, like, what the fuck?
New York is a frightening place. You hear about New York and all their gun policies?
Oh, yeah, well, they're trying to make it so you have to turn over all your social media history, and then they get to decide based on that whether you get a gun, which is ridiculous. And it's just waiting a lawsuit. Like, it's gonna get struck down as soon as it hits the Supreme Court. It just has to go through all the fucking bullshit to get there in the first place.
Well, and they were also doing this thing where they were trying to outlaw, like, Nerf guns.
Were they trying to fucking outlaw? What are they worried about, man? Jesus fucking Christ. Are they that much of a pussy? Like the fucking... Oh, you know what it is? I know what it is. Oh, yeah. No, Nerf guns are really, really dangerous. See, what you can do with a Nerf gun is you can take a piece of masking tape and you can write down mean words on the tips of the darts So when you shoot people, you're doing extra double damage because you're hitting them with a Nerf dart and words. Painful, dangerous, deadly words.
Yep.
You can't have Nerf guns out there. People could kill people that way, man.
Yeah, Nerf guns. You can do some real damage with a Nerf gun.
Oh, but if you write a racial epithet on a piece of tape on the dart, that's even worse because everybody knows words are extremely dangerous.
Yep. Yeah, we all know now that words are damage. Words are hate speech.
Oh, hate speech is the worst of the words. I'm not sure we can keep talking about it, or we might get kicked off of YouTube.
For hate speech, I know, right?
For hate speech. Oh my god, some of this fucking liberal nonsense. Like, oh, how do you?
It's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Yeah. Here, the thing that really bothers me is how many people are going to end up with very real long-term damage because a lot of the shit that people say and get away with saying online is if it's like reasonable. And like in schools and stuff, like where they're basically like preying on all the kids that are what do you call it, autistic or somewhere on that spectrum. Like, 'cause virtually, like I've been listening to some of those D-trans stories, and the one consistent factor between all these like detransitioning stories is that almost all of these kids were autistic and like in the drama like clubs and shit like that. So it's like they're clearly picking out like a victim type and then just going after them and convincing them that if they decide to change their gender, then all their bullies will have to stop and they'll have all this social power and swagger whenever they're in their classes or in their walking down the hall. They'll have this awesome shit to be all this power essentially just to stop the bullies, and everybody's gonna pretend to like them. So
yeah. Well, if you look at the people who do the transitioning, you look at the statistics and all that, there's a common thread, a common trend, and it happens to be that most of the people who transition are women, and if they're of a certain age bracket, somewhere in their mid-20s and younger, and a lot of them are white. So this is another factor to keep in mind. Yeah, and then I think it was like Joe Rogan. They brought someone on who was going over all the information, and part of the reason for why they think of it, or what, like they ask them like, why do you think this and why are you in there, or what's the social stuff that brings you onto this, and one of which being is that they're not a part of any minority, not a oppressed group, and apparently a lot of young women.
Damn.
So a lot of women out there they value
because women
oppression.
can't handle not having social status. Like it's essentially like
That's
being
right.
dead if they're not in charge. Like, because that's how you grow up. Women are so fucking competitive and evil to each other. Like, holy shit.
Well, and see that's kind of it. And the point is that they're looking for oppression status because we've all known that oppression is the big thing. Like
Yeah,
who's
that's
the
what
oppressed
makes
minority?
you super fucking cool right now.
Exactly. And so when you look at a lot of white women, they don't really have a lot to complain about, which is the point. So
Well, actually,
they're
right
not
now they're incredible. They're like the victims of just some incredibly like over the top racism. So to be fair, they really do have a lot to complain about. Ironically, by becoming a minority group, they're actually becoming part of like the racist in group.
Yeah, but that's not part of the
they
narrative.
don't know that because they're fucking dumb. But
Yeah, well,
it is
because
what's occurring. Like,
yeah, well, and you could have an oppressed minority group, but if it's not part of the group, the societal recognized oppressed group, then it's not really a big deal. Like the whole thing is like black, trans, gay oppression. Even though like you could easily say redheads are the most oppressed minority in the world. That doesn't matter. That's not part of the narrative. And so that's,
Well, you
that's
can't
the
be
idea.
you can't be oppressed unless you're a minority, and you can't be a racist unless you're white. You know, it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
the dumbest two rules on the planet for people that just don't understand how like reality works.
Like if you look at the level of oppression, or like who's the most likely to get raped, statistically speaking, it's men, predominantly in jail. But no one really wants to talk about that. If you look at like prison rapes, it's quite high.
Oh yeah, it's fucking insane.
Yeah. So when you take that into account, men are the most raped, but that's not part of the narrative.
Well, and
So
you know, one of the things they don't do is they don't have a lot of groups for men that are victims of rape.
Exactly. There's not a lot of support out for them. So, or if there is support, it's not very widely brought up. So,
yeah, it's definitely not like widely accepted. That's for sure.
Yeah.
If you're a dude, you don't want to be being like, oh no, because I actually know a few dudes who were raped. Like, it's not something they're generally going to talk to anyone about anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they weren't raped in prison. They were raped by like stepfather and a father. So
yeah. And not to mention, if you look at the men who have raped, you go into psychologically, like look at them and why they did it. I mean, a lot of them were victims at one point themselves, and so when you're a victim, it messes with your thought process. It messes with your wiring, and you think, well, someone did this and got away with it on me, and maybe I'll do it to someone else. It just sort of happens. Same thing with if you're the victim.
I think my uncle ended up sleeping with like a 16-year-old guy, and went to prison for that for a little while because, and then his father molested him as a child.
Yeah, so you see how that kind of plays into it. So when you think about it in the mind of a rapist, is that they were at one point a victim themselves. That doesn't
Not
justify
all the
what.
time.
Not all the
Maybe
time,
a lot of the time, but definitely not all of the time. Just to be clear.
Yeah, but it is something to be considered, and our society doesn't consider that. Like you've committed a crime, you've committed
something
a crime.
that should be considered in the respect of, if somebody's a victim, they should be getting counseling, they should be getting therapy. It shouldn't be like, oh, well, if they want it, it should be like, this is something you absolutely need to have. Like, you need to be dealing with these issues.
Yeah, these things must be dealt with, and fair enough. I mean, when someone says like a crime's been committed, and so yeah, obviously that should be dealt with.
Yeah.
So it's just how we deal with it. Not to mention, I mean, like if you send someone to prison, a lot of times they don't really change their ways. They just sort of bide their time, and then when they get out, they might do it all over again. Not all the time, but sometimes. Yeah. Jail isn't really the best place to reform, even though that's exactly what it's designed for.
Yep. Jail is not designed. It's like, oh man, it's also, if you think about it, like jail's not designed to reform people. It's designed to make criminals worse.
Well, it's also
that's
like
what makes them more money, and they're not in it to reform anybody. It's all privatized. The last thing they want is for somebody to get out of prison, go back out into society, and not come back to prison, so that they're not making more money.
Well, and not to mention, I mean, prisons are essentially like criminal university. You go there, you can learn how to do just about anything.
True. Yeah. You can get schooled in all sorts of types of crime.
Yeah, you want to learn how to steal a car? I mean, there's plenty of people to ask. You want to know how to break into someone's home? Yeah, there's plenty of people who know what to do.
Yep, 100%.
Not to mention,
they're ready to give you the hookup.
Not to mention, part of the thing is with us guys is we're problem solvers.
Yes.
And so
there's nothing more satisfying than solving a problem and getting to tell another guy how to solve it so that he can do the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, criminals are going to get better and better as time goes on.
And it's not even like a criminal thing. It's just like any dude who's done anything, who's figured something out, is more than happy to tell you exactly how they did it, like 9 times out of 10. Just
oh yeah,
it's like crack for men. It really is.
Oh yeah, we like to show off what we do because we are kind of show off sometimes, which is fair enough.
And then I took the coat hanger and I dangled it in the toilet, and then you're like, "Oh God, what are you doing?" Oh, did you hear the cable company got a $6 billion lawsuit against them at some point?
Which one?
I don't know which one. I just know that there was a cable company that was somehow implicit in somebody's death, and or somebody's death, like multiple people. I'm not sure. I never looked into it any further. But there was some sort of wrongful death lawsuit against them, and they were fined $7 billion.
Damn.
And right, you hear that, and it's just a moment of like, well, fuck. That's a lot of fucking dough. But the courts revisited that and lowered it to $1 billion, which is still fuck. That's a lot of money. You know, like it doesn't make it that much better. But
then. Yeah, I'd be curious to hear the fucking details on that. Like, how did they manage to cause somebody's death? The cable company?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like, there's recently a lawsuit where it was, like $1.7 billion settlement against Ford because all of the trucks they built between 1990 and like 2016, the roofs were not sturdy enough that if it rolled over, that the roof wouldn't just completely collapse on all their pickups from those years. And that's, you know, obviously that's a big fucking issue. So, like, you know, probably it's sort of like a standard thing that they're going to say, hey, this settlement is too expensive, we can't afford it, please let us go. But it's probably not going to get thrown out. There were no major issues in the court case, and judges generally don't like being told, hey, you did this wrong, I want to do it again. Because you can't just keep having a trial over and over until you get the one you want, unless you're the government and you're trying to convict somebody. So that should be interesting too. I think the best lawsuit I've heard about, since I've been just looking at like random ass lawsuits, is what was it? It was Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts. Somebody tried to sue the Pop-Tart company for like $7 million. And their thing was, well, their strawberry Pop-Tarts also include apple and pear because they're trying to, like, you know, stretch out that you know, that jam on their strawberry Pop-Tarts so that it's not as expensive. And that lawsuit failed pretty fucking miserably. And I'll be real honest with you here. When I saw that lawsuit, I was like, "There's real fruit in Pop-Tarts?" Because I genuinely thought that was just sugar flavoring and some like fucking cornstarch to make it into a paste. I didn't think that was real fruit. I'm still not entirely sure I believe them. I think you want to get that tested to see if it's actual plant material or if it's just a bunch of fucking sugar paste.
Yeah, it does seem like it's just some weird paste that they add artificial flavor
Yeah,
to.
Exactly. But apparently that includes 2% or less of actual strawberry.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's pretty bad.
I mean, but it says it on the box, so, like, what the fuck ever is my opinion on it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you
were they not
the box
listing the apple and the pear?
Don't complain about what's in it.
Were they not listing that there was apple and pear?
No, they were listing everything, yeah. They were saying that there's, like, apple and pear. Like, somebody in the comments for the lawsuit actually said, you know, for somebody who's deathly allergic to apple, I think it's really important to know that there's apple in it. And it's listed on the box in plain writing, so there's no question for me. Like, I don't, you know.
Yeah. Are people allergic to apples? Is that a thing? I guess there's people allergic to pretty much anything.
I didn't know there was a specific thing. Oh, they changed this aspect of Slime Rancher. All right. Yeah. Okay.
We're not going to ask what it is, so if you want to tell us, fucking say
sorry,
it.
no, I was just looking at it still. So it used to be when you upgraded your character, you'd like get like more power, more speed. Your tanks would hold more stuff when you're vacuuming things up, like that kind of thing. You would just pay whatever amount of money it cost. But it turns out now you got to pay whatever money, plus you got to collect a bunch of different kinds of plorts and feed them in as materials. So you have to like, so it's kind of cool. It's like, oh, there's a whole extra little step you got to go through now to do the thing.
Right.
I mean, maybe not everybody's going to be a fan of that, but I kind of like that the game gives you a little more challenge as you're going along.
Cool.
Yeah, you don't give a shit. I mean,
what? No,
I don't know that you
really
needed to be that sarcastic because I already knew. I just like.
You're always
I'm also like driving and like only half paying attention to.
Oh yeah,
well,
no doubt.
you're always playing like the strangest games. Like I thought you'd be playing something a little more. Well, the only mainstream is like Overwatch every now and then.
Yeah, I just can't play Overwatch right now. I think it's something to do with the Overwatch 2 is coming out like next month, like in like I think the 6th of October is when they're releasing it. Is what it says on their website now. And just the cheating in that game has gotten so out of hand. It's fucking insane. Like every game you play has multiple people that are like level 20, like super fucking low level. And every game goes exactly the same way. About the halfway point, this team that was absolute garbage is nowhere near the correct positioning, isn't playing their characters correctly, makes zero changes, but now they can't die, and every single shot is like a fucking headshot. And it's not fun. It's just kind of like, all right, well, yet again, all right, how much fun is that? To be clear, that doesn't mean they win the game, because they're still shitty players, and you can still win even if they're cheating. It's just not fun to play.
Yeah, it's like playing with a handicap that you fucking told about.
Yeah, I still win a little over half my games, and I'm bronze though. Like I'm like super high level or anything. I'm a pretty shitty player. But even I still win over half my games, so it's like I'm not gonna complain about that. That's pretty decent for any FPS, I would say.
Yeah,
for a fucking 42-year-old who's half blind, yeah.
Yeah, you're doing all right, dude.
But mostly what I like to play is like I like games like Conan Exiles, where you're doing that, and then it's like like whatever I see on like a video or like a stream or something. If I catch like little bits of pieces of streams here and there, if it looks fun, I'll play it for a while. So that's how I got things like the pressure wash game.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how that became so popular, but yeah.
It's so satisfying, dude. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like,
well, it's kind of like painting, but it's the opposite.
Yeah, you feel like you're accomplishing something, even though you're definitely not. Like you're just, like it's obvious like I'm not actually cleaning anything.
It on, and the pressure washer is basically stripping stuff off of it.
And you do as you go around, you do what do you call it? See all the dirt and grime being like wiped off, so it's kind of cool in that aspect.
Yeah.
See, the game everyone's talking about, for instance, that Cyberpunk anime.
Oh, the Cyberpunk anime? I've never heard of that.
Really? Fucking dominating the world right now. It's called Cyberpunk Edge Runner. It's on Netflix right now. Based on that Cyberpunk 2077 game that came out a few years back. And apparently the anime is really good. I've seen it. It's pretty darn good. but they've also fixed the game just in time for when the anime came out, and it's become like it's just skyrocketed in popularity because the anime is so good.
Yeah, I thought they said the game sucked. Like everybody fucking hated that game.
Oh yeah,
game was out.
the game was not. Yeah, the game was not finished. Not finished at all. It still fucking sucked. But they patched all the problems, so now it's a workable game, and so it plays well now. And they added some DLC based on the anime.
Huh.
So if you guys ever get a chance to watch Cyberpunk Edge Runner, it's like 10 episodes long, so it's not very long. Each episode's like maybe 20 some minutes, so you can finish it in an afternoon if you really want to.
Check it out.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, if you get a chance. Yeah, it's like if you go on Netflix, it's like the trending anime. It's fucking dominating the world right now.
Yeah, I don't generally watch cyberpunk anime, like just a general thing, so I'm not surprised I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah.
Like it would be weirder if I had heard anything.
Yeah, although I do kind of like cyberpunk aesthetic, so check it out.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds interesting for certain.
Absolutely. Oh, it's certainly an interesting show. A lot of people keep bringing it up in that they're saying that this is what America is going to be like in a few years because of the healthcare system.
Oh yeah, that's so dumb.
Well, the thing is with cyberpunk in general is that it's like capitalism on steroids. Like everything is monetized, everything is tier. If there's
well, I was just thinking, like, we're not going to be, people aren't going to be out there like, I don't like my legs, so I'm going to have, like, robot legs put in their place because they're better.
Yeah.
Like, we're not anywhere near being able to replace, like, body parts with better robot equivalents. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, we're not going to have, like, better robot arms anytime soon. Like, if you replace your arms with robot arms, you'll have no tactile sensation in your arms anymore.
Well, according to...
there's no way to connect it to, like, nerve endings to actually interface.
They're working on that. Don't get me wrong. That stuff is being worked on. But...
Well, I can't remember who, like... There was, like, a former guy in the military that was on Joe Rogan talking about all the stuff they were developing, and they actually do have the ability. Like, one of the things that they have developed, and they're going to be making it available, not to the general public, but in the military particularly soon, is that they actually developed a way to have like an exo, it's not quite an exoskeleton, but it's this thing that they can put on your legs. So if you've been crippled, you can be able to walk again.
Dude, I want one.
Yeah, so like you can walk.
Fuck is this military only horse shit? Fuck that.
Well, like new technology is always developed in the military. But the thing is that if you get let's say crippled in the line of work, then they'll give you this thing, and then you're back out in the field. You know, back to work you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I figured that much.
So it's kind of like, you know, you get injured. It's like, oh, good, the nightmare is over. I don't have to go to war anymore. Oh no, you can walk again now. Oh wow, it's a miracle. Oh shit, I'm back out in the field.
I get to go back to hell again. Woo! Everybody party.
And apparently the technology is relatively cheap. So like they managed to make it so that way it can be done at a fraction of what it could do before. So now you have the ability to walk again. Pretty soon you'll have the ability for your arms as well. So then you can get whether or not you were getting feeling. That to some people in the military, they say that's a bonus. Like, oh, you can't feel your legs turning to jello. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, who needs to feel their fucking limbs? God, bunch of pussies.
Can't feel
your
legs.
I understand not wanting to feel pain or whatever, but like you should be able to fucking, know when something touching you or fucking.
Oh, let's be real. We all want to know whether or not you'd be able to feel your dick.
Well, there is that. I don't know about that, but what I do know is like
that's the most important part. I don't give a shit if I can feel with my legs, but I want to know if my fucking dick works.
Well, you could say it's a benefit in that, like, if you're hiking for hours on end with a backpack on there, and your feet are fucking killing you, and it's painful, and your legs are killing you. Well, if you can't feel down there anymore, and you got these mechanical legs, you can go for as long as you want, and not feel a damn thing.
Well, and even if you didn't have like numb legs, if your legs, what do you call it, still felt, I would imagine that they would take a lot longer to get sore if you had a fucking exoskeleton doing all your walking for you.
Yep. And that was actually one of the conversations that Joe Rogan was talking about. It was like, can you guys make an Iron Man suit? And the answer is yes. The military can make one. The problem is that the practicality of it's just not worth it, because the suit can't, like for instance, like it'd be clunky, it'd be loud, people would know where you are in advance. It's not as bulletproof as you might think, because to make it more and more sturdy means heavier armor, which makes you slower, so it's not really all that worth it. And at that point, like even if you're walking, and like legs aren't as useful as you might think, so it's like it'd be easier just to have wheels, and then have the type of wheels that can go upstairs, because there are those tracks and designs to do so. That would be even faster and better. So really, it's not worth it to make an Iron Man suit. It looks cool. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea in a comic book. Realistically, it wouldn't be as effective as one would hope.
Yeah. Same thing with flight. It's like, it's just, you'd have to have a lot of equipment.
Don't they already have jetpacks of some kind, like multiple different kinds that actually function?
Yeah, but they're garbage. They're all garbage. They look cool and they're fun, but they don't function very well.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting. I was just saying, like, I'm pretty sure they've got fully functional. Maybe not the most effective though. Yeah.
See, like, part of the reason for having the flight is so, like, you'd have a gun or something on there, but you add armor and ammo to any kind of a flight suit, it's just not worth it. Drones are far more effective. So, because they don't have the way of the human, you can put on weapons on drones. Drones are far more effective. Robots in general are just more effective.
Those stupid fucking meme robot dogs? Like, that would probably be what you'd want if you were in the military. It's something that's like, it's relatively small. It can get like a lot of places without really being noticeable. Could very easily and accurately fire any some sort of gun, weapon, or plant and leave an explosive.
Did you see the video of the one with the gun on it?
I've seen a bunch of them, yeah.
Yeah, so they do have guns on them. They have worked up. The problem is the stability, because the recoil from some guns are so great that it might flip itself over, in which case it's useless. So they're working on that part, which I think
no, that's not useless. No, hold up. That doesn't make it useless, because it might fall over if it's got a 50 cal. You can still hook up a bunch of different shit to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what they're trying to do.
Not worth using guns with, but they could easily give it a bomb, and it could, sneak behind enemy lines and drop the bomb in the fucking,
part of the problem with that is usually the weight. So you could do a layer bomb, but then it's like, what's the point? Because the layer bombs won't do as much damage. For something that's more effective, needs something a lot heavier. And those dogs can only carry so much. And they're quite expensive. So, in other words, to do the damage that it needs to do, it won't do that much damage. So, they have to balance that part out. It's actually better to have it have guns, because then it can shoot that. But like I said, the legs are so light that when it fires off the guns, it runs the risk of flipping itself over, like on its own back. In which case, they haven't developed the technology for it to climb back up on its legs. It doesn't have.
I think you would just need like a lever on the back that just pops out and rolls it over.
Maybe, but that adds to more of the problem, because then it's like that's more that has to carry on. See, the point is to make it as light as possible, do as much damage as possible, but the more you tack onto it, like levers and stuff like that, the heavier it gets, the slower it gets, the less effective it gets. In which case, what's the point of using those things with wheels, or just use those legs? Just get one with wheels. It's more effective. Make little mini tanks.
Yeah.
Which is probably what they are going to do. But the goal is the ones
Oh
with
yeah,
the
well, I
legs.
mean, sooner or later they're going to get something that works the way they want it, no doubt.
Well, the ones with the legs, the advantage is that they actually have the ability to hop and go over things, and so wheels, you have tracks and stuff, so you can have other all-terrain wheels onto it, but might not get the distance to climb it. So that's why they're experimenting with the leg ones.
Okay.
Mm.
Well,
Speaking
whatever.
of,
It's interesting to watch, and those things look like they would be pretty useful right now if properly applied.
could be. Elon Musk posted a picture the other day. What day is it today? Is it the 30th? No, that's tomorrow. So apparently tomorrow is a National AI Day, according to Elon Musk.
Oh, he's
Our
just like
official-
determined that it's National AI Day.
That's what he's tweeted out, and I'm like, I don't agree. I don't like this. I don't want to support AI. It's too scary
I,
for
for
me.
one, support our new AI overlords. What are you doing? They're listening, man, right now. No. They're watching us. They're always watching. Can't afford to piss them off, man.
I know that Elon Musk's been working on like a domestic humanoid robot that people can have in their house to do.
If it can make me a
chores.
sandwich and give me a blowjob, I'm in.
I mean, maybe it'll do better than Amazon's. Did you guys hear about the Amazon robot drones that they had?
Oh no, I did not. That's
This is a few years ago because Amazon has they ran the test 'cause they had like the drones that would drop off things via the air.
like packages.
And then
right?
but then they also had a self-driving robot car that can go over it. All right, that sounds okay. But then the idea is that you have to get the package to the person's front door. And so they developed a robot that would actually go out there and carry the package to the door. Well, the humanoid one was a little too freaky for people. They'd see it and it didn't move right. It was kind of frightening to look at. So then Amazon thought, well, okay, maybe if we make it look more like a robot, it will be there, because then you know it's a robot. And so they gave it a little more like a machine-like thing, and they removed the head. Just thought that would be too freaky for people. But it turns out that it was that
It's too
it
creepy.
moves.
Take its head off.
Yeah, well, because
that logic is killing me right now.
yeah, well, if you take off the head and just gave it like robot tracks or whatever else, that way you know it's a bot that's dropping it off. You can just look at it like that's clearly a robot. So they did that, and they removed the head part of it, and they gave it little hooks or whatever. And apparently, it was so terrifying for dogs that they went into shock.
Really?
Dogs usually bark, but you see this thing that doesn't even look like anything from nature, doesn't look like anything from this world. It's so bizarre looking. Dogs would start barking and then immediately fall over into shock.
Dude, that's... Is there video of this? Because I want to fucking see these dogs just going apoplectic.
I think Amazon's the one that published the information about why they don't do the robots. Because they made this announcement about how they're going to do robots instead of having people dropping stuff off. And Amazon, they report that dogs went into shock. Just like, they just flopped over, their eyes were wide open, the breathing became shallow. They were just so fucking in shock. They couldn't comprehend what they were looking at. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably it. The idea of droids, like from Star Wars, like C-3PO, like this sounds like a cute idea. It might work. Most people can't stomach it. It's too frightening.
Yeah, I can feel those dogs' pain though, because I have seen Lena Dunham nude, and that was roughly the same response. Yeah, I just started barking, and then I fell over, and I was just out of this world for a while.
See, I don't think
unfortunate.
I don't think humans are ready for robots. I don't think
I would be absolutely down with a robot. Are you kidding me?
Well, you see, the reason why is because people don't respond too well to robots. Like when I was talking about the
Get like angry at it. It's a fucking robot. Like, what are they expecting?
well, that's the point. Well, that's the point. It has no
Oh, that's
emotions.
funny.
You can bully it. Because there was a police robot that would go by and remind people that it's not safe to go out by yourself. Please head home. Like there was some sort of police. I think it was in like L.A. and it was immediately found in like someone's pool. Like someone picked it up and threw it into a pool of water.
Pool. Nice.
Yeah. There was even a robot that was like hitchhiking across America. It was like
that one was funny because it started out in Canada and it was fine for like 3 or 4 rounds. Like, and then the second it went across the border to the U.S., it was boom, fucking destroyed.
Yep.
I thought that shit was hilarious. I was like, oh yeah, that's really not at all surprising.
Then,
we are kind of a bunch of fucking savages in this country. That's no argument for me there.
I don't think people like
any droids around here.
Well, and that's kind of it. I don't think that it's going to work. I don't think humans are ready for robots. I don't think that I don't think we like them. And already we already have some apprehension to them or some anger towards them because they've also been like taking people's jobs, like in factories and all that. So people aren't able.
Angry at robots.
Well, for instance,
they're not. There's literally they're gonna zero effect. You being angry at a robot is gonna have no effect on the robot. Like I don't understand the.
Well, that's the point. There's no emotion there. Like, okay, if somebody
it just seems like a lot of work to go to for no real reason. Like,
for instance, jobs are for people. Okay, a robot. If you give it to a robot, it's like saying that you're useless. You're no longer useful in society. You're a piece of garbage. A robot can do your job. That's a huge insult. If you find out that you were replaced by a robot, you're not going to take it too kindly.
But like 90% of the jobs out there could be done better by robots.
Well, sort of. I mean, you're probably
like a
right.
Robot is going to make a more consistent burger if you want a burger. You know what I mean? Like you're buying fast food, not a homemade, not like the really good homemade burger that your mom makes. I'm talking about just like you go to McDonald's, like. Any given day, a robot is going to make a Big Mac substantially better than any of the people that have ever worked there.
You're probably right. I think that it'll be consistent. Like if you go to a McDonald's in Mississippi, probably tastes about the same as a McDonald's in New Zealand or something.
Exactly. If it's all robots, it's always going to be the same shit.
Exactly, but that's kind of the problem. See, sometimes when you go to a place and they make it just a little bit differently, that might be for the best. Because then you end up developing, this is my favorite restaurant. Because I like how they come out. You need some diversity in there. And that's where the human staff gets. If it's exactly the same, well, then it's exactly the same. And the problem with that is it will breed stagnation. I mean, part of the reason why I used to go to this particular McDonald's I used to go to all the time before I decided to lose weight, because I liked how they did the chicken nuggets. I did. Because all the other ones taste exactly the same, except for this one. And that's why I go there.
But on the other side of that, there's this Taco Bell I never go to anymore because every time I go there I get sick. Whereas any of the other Taco Bells, I'm fine.
There you go. So now there's one that you avoid, which is fine.
But see what I'm saying? Like, it could equally be an appealing thing depending on how you look at it.
And it could equally be a bad thing. But you know what? It could, like if this Taco Bell always gives me diarrhea, I fucking hate this Taco Bell. Well, you know what? That's a good reason not to go. But if your in-laws are coming to visit and you don't like your in-laws, I know what we're eating tonight.
Oh, Jesus. Like, I may be suffering, but I'll make them suffer too. I love it.
There could be a reason. Or you'll know, like, if you go there and you order the salad and everyone looks at you funny, like, you never ordered a salad. Yeah, I thought I'd just try something different.
Yeah.
I thought I'd try something that might not give me diarrhea.
I mean, look, there are advantages to the bad stuff. But if it's consistent, all the way through, you don't get those little jokes. You don't get those little stories. Yeah, and a lot of all that. And on top of that, I don't think it's a good idea for businesses to go AI with a lot of these things, like with robots. Just because
I'm using McDonald's as like a silly one, but too. I mean, like like a real thing is like any manufacturing job is almost always going to be better with robots. Mm-hmm. Like your car is going to be more consistently done the correct way every single time with a robot because people tend to just get fucking lazy and slack off, man. Mm-hmm. That's just the reality.
That's part of the human condition, and I think.
And I don't want a car with character. I want a car that's not going to kill me when I drive it. So, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, fair enough. But at the same time, I mean, if something goes wrong, there's something wrong with the design. In which case, you can't just complain to like the manager of a factory and whatnot, saying, "Oh, your car nearly killed me."
No, you would go to the company that made the robots and made the design, and then you would sue them. Like that's how we do it now.
Yeah, but there again, that's not an advantage to the companies because if something substantially bad happened to the series of cars that was brought on by the robots, you're not just dealing with one complaint. You're dealing with hundreds of thousands.
The amount of money they're going to save in like health benefits and hourly wages is going to be so much more substantial than anything they could possibly lose in a lawsuit.
Well, there's a lawsuit, but there's also a recall, which could also happen.
Even then,
which means
I still think they end up saving money long term because most of the issues that they probably get sued over are manufacturing issues that just didn't get done right by people.
It'd be, but at the same time, if enough of it goes out there, it could ruin the business. I mean, the money you might make.
But that's the same thing that happens with people there too. It's not like.
Yeah, but with people, I mean, you can boil it down to like one or two people, or you can figure out like from there. I mean, granted, I mean everyone's different, and there's certainly some chaos and all that can come with that. But if you take away the human element from all of this, then you take away a lot of responsibility too. I mean, there are some people that are like higher up the chain, all the way to like the engineer who helped develop the car. But then again, he might not be the person in charge, or he might not be the reason. But I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea in the long run. I mean, sure, it might help, but you also ruin a lot of innovation. It's just my idea. I mean,
view. You know what though? Like, if the robots are taking out the trash, then the guys that were running the trash can be doing other stuff, and it'd be more innovative that way.
Well, sort of, but I mean, if you take away a job, you have to create it somewhere else, and you have to train for it. And then what do you do if someone's been to spend their entire life doing this? It's like, well, yeah, I don't know. What are you gonna do? Retrain.
Train like, to another job, give them unemployment. Like, what happens when you lose your job on a regular, like Wednesday?
I mean, like someone could say, like if you go to a coal mine and the coal mine dries up, there's no more coal. Well, then the guy could just, get a job at a different coal mine. He can move and move his family and all that, so it's not terribly bad. But if you dissolve an entire industry, that's a bit of a problem. Not to mention, if things change, that could also be another problem. And not to mention, like, all those businesses that employed you, why would they pay for your training? Why would they need to? They just lay you off. Their responsibility ends once that's done. In which case, then it's up to the guy to pay for his own training. So then, like you say, like you can't.
Also, I mean, to be fair to them, I mean, once you get out of high school, what are you doing? You're paying for your own training, or you're getting a job and then paying for your own training there.
Yeah, but the advantage you have
for a lot less.
Yeah, but the advantage you have there is that you're young.
True.
And so you can do that.
But you can't expect to have the same job forever. Like, that's just not a realistic standard to set.
Well, I mean, and yeah, it might not be something to maintain.
Yeah. I just think there's a good place for robots doing a lot of really shitty work that is dangerous and not fun.
Mm-hmm. I agree. But new industries
shouldn't count that out, but I can totally understand why you might not want fucking Amazon robots that are creepy as fuck coming to your door and scaring the shit out of your dog.
I think,
you know what I mean? It's like, maybe it's not as efficient to have a real human deliver your package, but it's better than the fucking scary ass robot.
I do think you're like bringing machines in is definitely useful. In a lot of cases, it did kill a lot of jobs, but I think some of that was for the better. Like the
Yeah.
logging industry, for example, it used to be that like when you cut down the tree, you had to cut off all the different branches just so you can get into another machine to turn it into lumber. And
Oh yeah,
now
and
they
then,
have
and then on top of that, there's always what they call widowmakers branches that look like they're not dangerous but just fall for no reason.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
So like
there's a lot
there's
of
definitely
dangerous shit that goes on in those industries.
yeah. So like they have this machine now that can take an entire tree, like it wraps around a tree and it pulls it through and it cuts off all the excess branches. So that way it's not as bad as it could be. So yeah, I think technology can definitely be good in a lot of ways, and I think a lot of it needs to be done. Definitely to make things safer for a lot of people. I just don't think that we should be completely doing away with the human element altogether.
Yeah,
So.
oh for sure. I gotta tell you, like honestly, like even with the McDonald's or the whatever, like if I'm sitting in a restaurant, I would much rather a human brought me my food than a robot. I like the interaction with human beings more than I would enjoy the robot interaction.
Well, all I know is that there are some people I don't particularly like all that much. So if I find a place that's not the greatest, it's a place I want to keep in mind. So take the in-laws like.
Well, and even if like say robots took over all the fast food, like that's not going to affect fine dining because you're never going to be able to get a robot that's going to make a like a fine dining experience the same as a human. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, how are you going to train a fucking waiter to be snobbish?
Well, I'm thinking more along the lines of there's a lot of variables that are going on in making like a lot of French cuisine per se. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole lot of variables involved there, and there's a lot of shit that can go wrong with just that can easily be fixed with just a little bit of like human response that I think would just be beyond a robot at the time right now.
Well, I'm from what I've seen with robots is that you can program randomness into it. It's possible to do. In which case, if you want that, you can. You want to program a waiter to be snobby? They can do that. It's not impossible. It's just a matter of how far do you want to take it.
Yeah, really.
And it's not impossible to do all that. In fact, even if you wanted a robot to have more human, like 'cause I know they're working on more human-like expressions, so robots can go there. Even like those. Have you guys heard about the AI art stuff?
Yeah. Didn't a robot win like a fucking big art contest?
Yep.
And everybody was mad as hell.
Yeah, I mean, and fair enough. I don't blame them, but yeah, you can program that kind of stuff into AIs. I've even played around with some of that myself, with a few of them, and I thought it was fascinating. It's not quite there yet, but it depends on where you, like I haven't tried any of the ones that you have to pay for. There's like pay for AI art.
Yeah.
Which it's
wasn't
probably
there one where you could give it like a couple of different words and it would just make random images for you?
Yep. Yeah, I've tried a few of those myself. They're okay. Not the greatest. But they're okay.
I thought they were kind of fascinating just from the perspective of like, so this is the interpretation an AI is making of angel tofu. You know, like whatever the fuck, you would expect if you gave 2 prompts of that to an artist. It's interesting to see how an AI takes human stuff and goes, well, all right, this is my interpretation of all these various different pieces of human art that I scanned.
Yeah. I'll post a few of them in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried doing that whole red ape. I thought, okay, let's see how they interpret my avatar.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting one. I like that idea.
Yeah. It does have some fascinating turnout, and the website I use, which has so far the bare results, because there are some websites that are just shit. That he does the AI art stuff, and it's not. not very good.
Oh yeah, yes. There's a lot of the results are just terrible. Yeah, they're not very nice. So is that what you're really worried about when you're talking about these robots taking over jobs? You're just worried that like the robots are going to take over the smut game from you?
They could. It's not that hard. I'm pretty sure there's a guy working on a website for that stuff already. I'm sure.
What kind of art would you come up with if you just typed in swastika?
Oh, that would be interesting for that fucking robot thing and that one that you just typed in a couple of prompts.
Yeah.
And provided that swastika isn't like a banned term or some nonsense like that, I think it'd be pretty interesting.
It might be. They've changed things up on the website that I use, and so like I typed in like cyberpunk woman, and a couple of times it says, "Oh, it couldn't complete it." But it shows you as it's rendering it, like as it's processing the art. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be like a sexy woman, that kind of stuff. And it just sort of stops working. And it's because you can't do it. I think if you sign in, you might go through just fine. But a lot of times it doesn't really work all that well.
Weird.
Well, I mean, I'm not overly surprised. I think because when you're using the free one, like anyone could use it.
True.
So, do you really want kids to generate their own porn? Honestly. Probably not.
Yeah, because then I don't have to see... Well, no, I will have to... Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I will have to see it at some point.
Yeah. I tell you, kid, kid, you can't do that. Yeah, anyway, there's a few I posted there in general. You see for yourself what came up.
Well, let's see if there's anybody watching. I don't think anybody is.
Well, there's
no.
Nothing is R-rated. It's all good. I don't think YouTube cares. Of course they don't care. You got like one person watching. It's probably me.
Yeah, those are interesting. I like those computer generated art things. Just from the perspective of it's interesting to see a robot's interpretation of what we want to see.
Well, essentially what it does is it just sort of takes something, puts a filter on it. It scurries the internet for different prompts. Probably does like a Google image search and then just sort of put it through a series of filters.
Oh yeah, most likely. Yeah, that makes it the most logical.
Yeah. Which isn't terrible. It's okay. I know that some artists do is they'll take it because there's no copyright or anything on randomly generated art. So you could take this, alter it slightly, and then call it your own.
Oh yeah, well, and a lot of that stuff you could just make shirts out of and sell. You know.
Some do. There's actually a filter or a feature on there where you can turn the image into an NFT. So which case,
nice.
So then just circumvent the whole NFT thing and make your own.
NFT. So you could, if you figured out, you could potentially turn that into like a real nice scam where you got, you're generating NFTs and then selling them to people.
I mean, NFTs in general is just like randomly generated art. Because what they do is they just create a series of assets and then put them through different color filters and texture filters. And then that's how an NFT is created. And they say it's one of a kind. And in a way it is.
Oh, see, when a mommy NFT and a daddy NFT love each other very much, they give each other a special hug, and a baby NFT is born.
Yep, that's exactly how it works.
The stork NFT brings the baby NFT to the mommy and the daddy.
Yep. That's how it all plays out. That's how
it always works.
How NFTs are created.
I can expand my world. I am genuinely surprised at how stable Slime Rancher 2 is in alpha state. It is kind of shockingly stable. Like, I haven't had any glitches yet, and I've been playing this whole time.
There you go.
It's more like it's just a really bare bones game, and they just haven't put everything in. And I'm just kind of surprised because I'm so used to game companies putting things out that are just broken from the get-go and just never get fixed. That it's genuinely kind of like weird and uncomfortable. It's like, wow, how this whole thing works properly. I don't know how I feel about that.
Competently made game? How?
Yeah, that's I don't like that.
How could this be?
Yeah, for real. Yeah, this is an interesting one. There's like all sorts of weird shit you can collect, at least the last game. So I assume eventually it's going to be like that in this game. But there was all sorts of different kinds of resources you could gather and collect, and like all sorts of different things you could build and like add onto your base, like little gadgets that would help you do shit and all that and whatnot. And then you could also crossbreed the slimes and make different slimes and shit.
That sounds like you just throw them into a bowl and mix them up.
So whenever a slime eats a piece of food, whether it be like a chicken or a carrot or a little fucking fruit or whatever, it puts out a plort, a little diamond-shaped sort of like thing that looks like the same color as the slime. So like a little pink slime would put out a little pink plort. And then other slimes can eat the plorts from a different slime and become like a hybrid slime. So like if a pink slime and a rabbit slime eat each other's plort, they'll turn into like a pink rabbit slime.
Huh.
And then when you feed them, you can feed them anything that the other two original slimes ate, and they'll put out one of each plort instead of only putting out one plort of their original type. They'll put out one of each, so you can kind of double your output that way. In a way, you can double your output. That's really nice. But the thing is, if they eat if one is a combined slime, and it eats a third different kind of plort, it'll turn into like a black tar slime and just start trying to bite you all the time and kill you. So you gotta get rid of it. You gotta spray it with water. That's how the game has you fight back. I don't know, it's kind of fun, and you can build like you can decorate everything, and you can build machines to like automatically feed your plorts, feed your slimes for you, and keep them from getting out of their pens and all that kind of shit.
Okay.
Oh, everybody's quiet. Are you playing your game dates while are you just like off in fucking video game land?
Yeah, a little bit. I just got home a minute ago.
Okay. Good lord. Alright, there was some other shit that was going on. What else was going on in the world? So I know I saw some funny shit. I still think so nobody here watches MXR plays, so I'll just give you a little quick rundown here. It's like a channel where they do like crappy react videos, and it's like a dude and his girlfriend, and it's been going, like the channel's been going for a long time. They got quite a bit of a following, and it's just them like reacting to whatever shit they find on like YouTube or Reddit or something a lot. And suddenly they started bringing in this other girl. And I'm pretty damn sure he's banging both of them, because his girlfriend and this girl look real similar. It's like his girlfriend is an 8 and this girl is like the same thing but like a 7. You know?
Isn't that her sister?
No, it's not.
I thought she was staying with them for a few days.
Nope, that's not her sister.
Oh.
That's her friend that they've both been friends with for like a really long time.
Oh, good for Henry.
And so I'm pretty sure he's fucking both of them, because it would explain why he's been dating the other girl for like 8 years and never married her. Because like, how many women you think are gonna put up with that for that long? So it's like, nah, I think these three have just been banging each other for a really long time, and for some reason they just don't say it. It's kind of funny to leave comments and bait people with, at least. Oh, I fucking pissed off the fucking Sword Channel guy. There's this dude with like about 1 million subs that like makes videos of him like fucking with swords. And he put out a video on how like the longsword is the only thing that's really good or whatever, and it was kind of like spoofy, and everybody that he had a bunch of people come at him with swords and like ninja swords or nunchucks or spears or whatever, and then he would just easily beat each one of them. And it was obviously all like staged and like what do you call it, choreographed. Like, yeah. Nobody in their right mind would look at that and think, oh yeah, this is legitimately like a serious fight. And I was just like, oh, it has that same feel and look of the martial arts masters who use magic and their students all fucking like go along with it. You know what I mean? Where they're like they'll wave their hand and then like 3 of their students will just like go flying and fucking like they got beat the fuck up or some shit, like some silliness.
Yeah.
And I just put that because it was like, you know, it's obviously this pre staged choreographed thing, and it was just silly looking, and that's what it reminded me of. And I got a nasty comment back about how like, or maybe it's just a comedy skit, you're taking things too fucking seriously, from the guy who runs the channel. And I was just like, wow, somebody got a really thin skin, because that wasn't even an insult, and I'm really unclear as to why you're mad right now. Like it, I don't know. I don't understand why you'd be mad about that. Because, like, well, of course, a fake fight is going to look like another fake fight. That's like nobody thought you were legitimately fighting with longswords right now, and like that's not, presumably not a common issue in the streets of the world. Are people having sword fights? I mean, I could be wrong because I know shit's going bad like out there, but I didn't think it was that bad.
So you're pissing off the fan base, eh?
Somehow he got all mad about it. I thought that was funny. I just thought it was funny because, like, homie, you got, and I'm not going to say the name of the channel because, like, why bother? But, like, homie, you got 1 million fucking subs, and you're mad because somebody left a random fucking comment on your channel? Like,
it could be that you know, he has known that maybe he shouldn't be reading the comments. Maybe you were like the 50th person who responded that day.
But it wasn't even like it wasn't even like I wasn't shitting on him. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like a nasty comment, right? I mean, at least I don't think so. He obviously took it amiss, but
well, maybe.
I mean, if I did a comedy sketch and you like, oh, it looks like this real life thing that happened, I'd be like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Like, I don't. Get away from my house. Stupid slimes trying to get in my house. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny because it's like, how do you get 1 million subs and be that fucking thin-skinned still? Like, you would think.
I think that he's not used to the fame. Like, when you get someone who's like, you know, you don't really have to respond to every comment. Right? You don't have to take everything so serious. Yeah. I think he's new. It's like, oh, I'm famous.
Maybe the channel just hasn't been around for very long, kind of thing. Yeah, it's possible.
I think like the great thing about YouTube is like you can really grow and get a lot of people following you and interested. The problem is that not everyone's used to that kind of attention.
Yeah.
Like if you found out that like the next time you stream, you find out you have like 1 million subscribers, and there's a lot of people commenting. And some of them were saying awful, terrible things about you. Like, I'm pretty sure you're not used to it. Mostly because, like, we're not really designed for that. Popularity is not a normal thing.
I don't know, man. I went to high school. People shit on me all the time, and I was alright. But Maybe not everybody gets that experience. I guess I don't know. Maybe there are people that go through high school without getting shit on by people. I don't know that I would believe that necessarily, but stranger
Some
things
people,
have happened.
if you're good looking, you probably went through high school pretty easily.
Yeah, fair enough. Although I gotta say, like that one dude I knew, who apparently I bullied, that I didn't even realize I bullied. Like I never even laid a hand on homie. So, I mean, I guess some people, everybody sees their experience through, like, their own particular lens,
Yep.
So maybe those people remember, like, weird, they got slighted at a party by this bitch, and they're like, oh, I was bullied so bad. Kind of thing.
Well, some people see things differently, and if they don't tell you that they don't like what you're saying, how are you supposed to know? You just thought, like I shoot the shit with some of my friends, but we understand each other. But if someone's not used to that, like I've come to realize, like I just don't talk to women the same way I talk to guys, because they don't understand. They're not used to being.
That is true. You cannot have a conversation the same way.
I could say horrible, mean things to you, and I'm sure you could take it. But if I say it to like a woman, she might take it actually seriously.
Like, you have to be very careful when you're talking to women about stuff a lot of the time.
Yeah. Well, because their world.
Some women can take it no problem, but you gotta read the room first. Like you gotta take a little bit of time to get to know them enough to know which it is, because you don't want to make that mistake.
Yeah, you want to be careful with that.
Well, because every woman knows men that might kick your ass.
Mm-hmm. There's it's different. They just have different lifestyles, different everything. The world to a woman is way different than it is for a guy. Like, do you ever see that video? Do you ever see that? I think it was the BBC that did that, where there was a woman who decided to see what life was like as a man, and so she dressed up as a man.
And she was like, "It's awful. I feel so bad for all of them." Like she just it was like her whole world fell apart. Like she could not handle it at all. I remember, that was fucking hilarious.
Like she took the world in as like, and to her credit, like I'm glad she did that. I'm glad she was able to learn what it was like. Man, that must have been a life-changing experience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, the fact that she actually changed her mind about things was really nice. Like, she's like, oh, yeah, no, I think I was wrong all this time about all of these things about sexism, and you're like, holy shit.
It's like, and what surprised me is, like, the BBC used to cover this shit. They used to understand that. Now they don't even touch it. They're like, no. Women are oppressed. Yeah. God damn it. But then again, to be fair, a lot of these people, they're being manipulated by other countries and other entities and whatnot. So, yeah.
True. Sad but true. Yeah, it's one of those unfortunate realities that, the corporations basically control a lot of that conversation and really kind of fuck it up.
Yeah, well, it's not so much, like, I don't really think of corporations as being all that awful. I think that the influence comes from, like, governments, because they're trying to manipulate society. I mean, like, Mark Zuckerberg did come out and say, like, the FBI, on behalf of the government, was coming in and saying that you need to watch out for certain elements. I think they were talking about the Hunter Biden stuff, like when the laptop came out, and it was saying, like, this is being propagated by, like, bad actors and whatnot. And so Facebook took down all the information. But if you found out that this would have changed the outcome of the election, and Facebook suppressed it, like they admitted to this stuff. And there's other social pressures that go on that we don't know about.
True. Yep. Gotta fucking keep an eye on those motherfuckers.
Yeah, I definitely don't trust a lot of the
I
lot of
kind
the
of wish
government.
that. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that some of these corporations get taken down, but I don't think that's a
Well,
very likely thing to expect.
well, it depends on the people. I mean, it's not so much that the government steps in or whatever. It's more or less how do the people react. Because the only reason they have as much money as they do is because of us. So like, if everyone decides to like not use Apple products at all, Apple will disappear. I mean, they may rebrand themselves or whatever else, but as they are, like, they'll be gone. It's just a matter of how you convince people not to use something. And usually that's you have a competitor, but a lot of times you don't have a lot of competitors out there. Like if there was a competitor to Amazon, then great. I mean, use that and get rid of Amazon. But there is none. And that's the problem. How can
Yeah, I've
capitalism work?
been looking because I fucking hate Amazon. Every goddamn product on their page is just absolute dog shit now. Like it used to be, you buy things from Amazon and they'd be fairly decent, like decent products. But now it's like 99.9% of the products on Amazon are all absolute fucking trash from China.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like you can't, like I can't go get a cookie cutter is going to fall apart in a month if I buy it from Amazon.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a really simple thing that you should buy once and probably not need for any other ones for like 20 years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. See, there are people who make stuff locally, but they do sell through Amazon just because it's an easier thing to use. So there are good
And
things
I
on
would
Amazon.
love to buy those things, but I can't find them.
Well, yeah, that's part of the
There's
thing.
no
is that,
indication of which one I'm buying. Like, I
yeah,
would
you need
actually
to,
be okay if Amazon would at least tell you where the thing was manufactured on the page that you're looking at, the front page.
well, they do, but it's fine print. You have to
No,
scroll
they don't.
down.
I've looked. Unless that's
You
something
go,
brand new, because I've been looking for
well,
fucking a long time.
it could be the difference between Canadian Amazon and American Amazon.
Hey, what's up, Fader?
As, because here in Canada, they go down to the description. They usually tell you where it's made. So that, and mostly
Oh,
because they'll
maybe
tell
they
you like
have
where.
to there.
Yeah, it could be that. So I see it, but
Let's see. I'm just
maybe
gonna
it's a
go to my
difference.
wish list real quick and take a look. I'm not, because if I'm wrong, I'd love to know like the difference here. I see the brand. I see different
What is it that you're
options as
looking
far
for?
as size, as whether it gets assembled, what's included, details, all the product details. Not in there. Okay, that's just a little pop-up info thing. Ships from Amazon, sold by Home Fine. Like, I'm pretty sure this is some shitty, like, Chinese trash that I'm looking at right now.
Well, part of the reason for the shitty, because like the stuff going on in China right now, is affecting the quality of everything. Because China, they have their own thing going on. Like
Oh,
they
now it
still
says
have
country of origin under the product information. Okay, that must be new.
maybe.
Because I've been looking for that every time I use it for the last, like, long-ass time. So, I don't know.
Well,
Then
the
that
thing is,
changed.
see, the thing is with like with China, because they still have a lot of stuff going on. They still have like severe lockdowns. They have like this no COVID policy or zero COVID cases, so they're locking down pretty hard, and they're not doing very good. It's lowering the quality of the goods coming from China.
Yeah.
So China's not doing so well, and they need
Oh,
to
but
start
see, it doesn't say
abandoning.
it on this other product here.
Oh, so maybe
It
something
just
doing
says it's
some
a
dope.
small product, a small business.
Oh, okay, I believe it.
Yeah. Because, like, I'm 100% into being able to buy things easier on, like, something like Amazon or whatever. But at least do me the courtesy of giving me the choice to buy, like, American-made, you know? Or I'll take German, you know? Like, or Dutch or Swiss or anything but Chinese or African. I don't want anything made in, like, China or Africa. Pass on those. They're usually really terrible products.
Well, if we're lucky, then there'll be like a change. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you know, time will tell, right?
Well, yeah, we do know this whole globalist idea of things is just not working out all that well. So.
Well, and it doesn't seem to be working out real great for them either. Like, well, except for, like, you know, Jeff Bezos and, like, Bill Gates. Like a very small group of people are making a huge amount of money. So, in that respect, it's working out. I just don't know if it's going to stay working out for them very long. Because sooner or later, somebody's just going to shoot one of them, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, they're just going to be walking down the whatever and going to get their fucking cup of coffee or something. And someone's going to just pop them with a rifle or a pistol or something. Some crazy shit's going to go down.
Not that we're hoping for any of that.
Yeah, no, I'm not encouraging it. I'm just saying, like, history tends not to allow for that kind of thing for very long. Like, it tends to not end well for those types of people. The ones who are trying to run everything without any sort of electoral process. They just want to just control everything because they feel like they're justified in doing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, history is a good teacher, as long as you listen.
All right, you better have a high score, Dates. What I'm saying.
Are you winning?
Is he you winning? Yeah, really.
Not yet. Hold on, I just got finished doing here, so. I'm all settled in now.
Ah, there we go.
Now I'm trying to...
Oh, Coolio died also.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I hope he is on his own fantastic voyage to his own gangster's paradise. Coolio will be missed. I thought he was pretty cool. Although he still had that wacky twig-like hairdo going up until he died.
Throughout the 90s.
It was like 59. Yeah, he was 59 when he died. That was
and he still had that dumbass-looking hairdo.
Now he's in that great gangsta's paradise in the sky.
Did you guys hear about that news anchor at Fox News talking about the hurricane? And he was being very hyperbolic about.
Oh no, I didn't. But I've heard a lot of people talking about it, and it was apparently fairly amusing, and people were very upset by it, justifiably so. I guess I don't know.
Well, what ended up happening is he was talking about it, and he said like if the hurricane moves just like I don't know how many kilometers in this particular direction, you're practically dead. Like that's something you shouldn't be saying.
Jesus.
It's like dead. And so what ended up happening
is let's not cause a panic and have everybody fucking like mob the fucking everything. Fucking
so
idiot.
what? In response to that,
a couple of kilometers over this way, you're all gonna die.
So what people have been doing is they're taking videos of themselves out in the hurricane, like they're waving American flags or fuck Joe Biden, that kind of stuff. They're saying like, you know, according to Fox News, I should be dead.
Oh no!
So it's
Let's
hilarious.
Go, Brandon. That's fucking funny.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Nobody's immune to criticism. This guy obviously is going to be criticized for a very long time because he said some stupid shit.
I haven't caught up on this, but apparently Don Lemon's been criticized a fair bit. He's been bringing up about.
I'm not surprised on that one, at least. That one's not at all surprising to me.
Well, when the Queen died, he was mentioning something about how like now that we have the king, what's his name, in charge. I mean, should the topic about reparations to the black community be brought up?
And
someone,
did everybody just go, shut the fuck up?
well, the person he was talking to was bringing up about like slavery from back in the day, and it's like it wasn't uniquely a black person thing. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm sure, like, especially in Great Britain, I'm sure, like, they had slaves that were all sorts of different fucking nationalities. Like, it was definitely not just black people.
Yeah.
I'd be pretty shocked if it was. Because they were all over, like, Africa, but they were also all over, like, India and shit like that, too, and Australia.
Oh, and some parts of the world, the slave trade is still going on.
Yeah, so. Oh yeah, 100%, yeah. I mean, you can go to the Congo and buy yourself a fucking pygmy for, like, the right amount of fish.
I'm sure it's possible.
Well, no, that's the Congolese. I think it's the Congolese. I could be wrong about this. It's been a while since I heard the story. But essentially, there's like pygmy tribes that live in the Congo, and the Congolese people have, throughout history, like since way back when we just started recording history, have enslaved them as farmers for a very long time. And the way that it works is they have no access to any sort of like medical treatment, and they can't, I guess, farm for themselves. They have to farm for the Congolese, and they get paid by the Congolese to do it. And it's like you get like a banana or two a day, or a fish a day or something, which is, it's just enough food to keep them from dying. But they get no medical treatment. They're not allowed to go see doctors. They don't have the money to. And I believe they're actually like legally restricted from getting like all sorts of different kinds of treatments. It's pretty brutal.
Isn't a lot of the Middle East like that too? Like in Qatar and all that shit?
Oh yeah, well the Middle East, they don't do it the same way that they do it in the Congo. So they do it in a different way with the passports, so that it's not technically called slavery. And what they'll do is they'll advertise over in different countries in Africa and be like, hey, all these jobs are available, the pay is so great, and you'll be here for 6 months, do this work, and be going back with like 40 grand. Right? So then these guys are like, well, holy shit, that's better than $5 a day making whatever, like fucking shoveling salt around. Right, so, sorry, I had to take a drink. You know, I wasn't stopping in the middle of the sentence, just letting you know. So then they go over there, and then the Saudis will seize their fucking passports.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And then they can't leave because they don't have a passport. And they have to work for this company until whenever. Like, there's no end to the work. And they get paid just enough to not die, so they're essentially slaves. It's just not called slavery. It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible.
Yep, and because they're our allies, or because we buy oil from them, apparently we don't ever talk about it or report on it in any way. I don't understand. Like, I guess our news companies just don't give a shit about Africans in Africa.
No, of course not. And some would say it's fair working conditions in that part of the world.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's a lot of people would say it's an improvement to what they were at. It's like, yeah, but they're still slaves. Like, it's not. I'd much rather be free and earning $5 a day than not be free and earning $10 a day. Like, because if you live in Africa, you can still like go and hang out with your buddies in the other village, or like, maybe you want to move to another city, you're allowed to do that. And but if you're in one of these work camps, like, you're not allowed to go anywhere or do anything. So it's kind of shitty.
Okay.
Take that, clouded leopard.
Clouded leopard.
Yeah, I'm playing the fucking Far Cry.
Oh, Far
Far
Cry. Is it everything you wanted it to be?
It's alright. It's fun.
Yeah, this game looks kind of cool. I
But
saw.
I'm kind of pissed because like you have to get like the animal skins to like craft like bigger, you know, like holsters and carry more ammo and that kind of shit.
Ah, okay, that actually kind of makes sense. I like that.
Yeah, but it's yeah, this would suck because I just kill off a bunch of what do you call them? Fucking.
Yeah, but I like the idea of like you want to carry more bullets, you need to farm the leather to make the pouch to carry the bullets.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, but this one, like, I just did a mission where I had to fend off like a bunch of. There was a bunch of what do you call them? Wolverines. I think that no, honey badgers. Sorry, honey badgers.
Honey badgers.
So yeah. So anyways, I was like, cool. So when I beat this, I'll have a shitload of skins to fucking craft shit because fucking honey badgers are hard to fucking spot, and they're fast as fuck. They're like tiny and like fast as fuck.
So they're hard to kill.
Yeah. Hard to find and hard to kill. Yeah. So anyways, I do have a mission. I finally beat it. Because you're like fending them off and the other dude's trying to shoot too, but they're retarded and they'll like jump in front of where you're fucking firing, so you end up killing them. But anyways, I finally did it, and then I go to get all the skins and shit, and they're like, oh, you know, these are all toxic, so you can't use these to craft. I was like, that's fucked up. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, that's kind of shitty.
Like
Don't know if I'm a fan of that particular style of game mechanic. If I just killed a bunch of shit, I don't get to keep its loot. Fuck you. That's not cool. I'm trying
to see if it actually has a value. Let me see. I didn't look at the value. Oh, I finally got enough to get more of the ammo bag. Nice. That was the last clouded leopard I needed.
Crowded leopard?
Crowded leopard.
It's a Japanese leopard. Oh no.
Demon fish? Where the fuck do I get? Oh, I assume it's a lake or something. I assume demon fish are not crawling or flying around. Although if it's a demon fish, it might.
Alright, let's see what's going on. Oh no, they won't let them go to the embassy. They're like, it's slavery in everything but name, essentially. Florida prayed away the hurricane. Nice. Oh, I've been getting a kick out of watching these follow my recipe videos with the fucking rappers. That shit is hilarious. Like, half the recipes, if not more, are just straight out of jail. Where it starts by putting like, all right, you want to take this plastic bag, you want to crush up your ramen noodles, you want to put your ramen noodles in this bag, and you want to put a little hot water in there and kind of knead it together until it makes a dough because we're gonna make a prison pizza. And you're like, fuck.
That's tasty.
Oh yeah, all the prison recipes. The only thing I've seen so far that I thought was genuinely like interesting was this dude took like hamburger buns, and he'd like paint the top of the hamburger bun with a little bit of egg wash, like a little bit of scrambled up egg, and then he would roll it in like roll it back and forth in a bunch of like crushed up Cheetos, and then he would bake that in the oven and bake both parts of the bun and the top with the Cheetos on it so it would stick, they wouldn't fall off anymore, and he'd have like a Cheeto burger bun, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. That'd be kind of fun to like try one time.
Huh? Yeah, they get fucking super creative, man. You got that much free time, dude. You can come up with all kinds of shit.
Well, I don't know if that was a prison recipe. So much as just a regular ghetto recipe.
Right.
like when your food fucking supply is low, or you just don't have a lot of money for food. There's not a lot. You get creative with what you can afford.
Right.
But I thought that one actually seemed like it would be pretty tasty, like, and you get that little extra crunch from the fucking Cheetos too. So it sounded kind of cool.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
Oh, what was it? Samaj put. Oh wait, I kind of want to wait for him to come back if he's coming back. But I'll bring it up again when he's here. Apparently, there's going to be a new Deadpool movie coming out, supposedly with Hugh Jackman in it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Deadpool 3 is supposed to be in the works.
Yeah, well, there's like an official sort of announcement preview kind of thing where like it's Ryan Reynolds talking about it. So I was like, oh, that's kind of fucking cool.
You think they'll leave him alone to actually make a decent movie, or are they gonna fuck it up like everything else?
I would imagine that with how long it's taken him to get it out this time, that's probably because he was like, look, you either make it, I make the movie my way, or I don't make it, and I'll just walk away.
Yeah.
And so it was just one of those things where it just took him that long to find basically like funding that wasn't shitty and wasn't gonna force him to put stupid shit in the movie that he didn't like, you know, or didn't want in the movie. Because one of the nice things about the Deadpool movies is like they may make social commentary on occasion, but in general they kind of stay out of your politics. Like they're not really involved in that.
Yeah, they're just trying to actually, you know, make a good movie.
Yeah, it's an entertaining movie and a fun story, and that's all that really is, which is really nice. I like it.
Yeah, like the good old days.
Way back when.
Yeah, it's like their last hope. Like, hey, maybe they'll leave Deadpool alone to be a, you know, somewhat offensive but highly entertaining movie.
I really hope so, because I mean, this is one actually is going to have like Wolverine and fucking Hugh Jackman. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I thought he said he was never doing that anymore. Like doing that character anymore.
Well, I mean, he and Ryan Reynolds are good friends, so
maybe he probably talked him into it. Yeah, good for him then. Shit.
You know, it's pretty cool if he did, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
I'll watch whatever the fuck they're both in. I don't care. Sadly, I'll watch that whether or not it's got the SJW bullshit in it. But I'll be very unhappy if it turns into that. That would kind of suck. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah. I mean, most other shit you kind of assume going to be fuck that, you know, SJW nonsense.
Yeah, sadly.
She-Hulk's way stronger than the Hulk because reasons.
Yeah, even though it's like a dilution of the fucking blood.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, She-Hulk is fucking dying. Like, it's probably not going to have a sequel.
Yeah, everybody, it's almost universally hated. Like, I think even the fucking leftist lunatics don't like it either.
Oh, yeah, no. That's a pretty common problem, though, with a lot of the leftist stuff. It's not very good. And
yeah, nothing's ever good enough.
Well, when you make a story, or you make a show or a film that's devoid of any real, like, story, and no one can connect to it in any real way, it's kind of fucking not going to be popular.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be entertaining.
Yeah, especially,
yeah,
you know, the weird
that's what
thing
I want from my movies is to be fucking preached at for 2 hours.
Yeah, preached at about stuff that's just not true. That's the part that really gets really obnoxious. It's like, I don't mind if you want to mention a genuine issue in society, but, like, let's be real. While there is, of course, some racism in society, it's not to the level that they're depicting it at by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, at least not by fucking white people anymore.
I mean, didn't the KKK start accepting Asians?
Did they really? That's fucking awesome.
I'm pretty sure they started accepting Asians and Latinos like a few years ago, like 5-10 years ago. Because they started making it more about being like an American citizen than about being white.
Yeah, that's good.
Even the KKK, I mean, it probably depends. Like, I'm sure, like any other organization of that type, there's a lot of variation, and not all of the different groups agree with each other. You know what I mean? So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like different groups of the KKK.
Right.
Some of them were like, well, we're more about being natural-born citizens than anything else, so we're not going to worry about the race as much. Asians are cool, and some of them were probably like, no, you don't get it. That's never cool.
Like, only the fucking Aryan race.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the neo-Nazis, the Aryan race thing, not the KKK. Or do the KKK care about that thing? Or?
Honestly, I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I don't really follow the hate groups enough either.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever fixed. Other than, like, I remember watching, it was back on the Daily Show way back when it used to be really good. Because they were talking about, like, the Nation of Islam, you know, like, fucking Farrakhan and all that shit. They're like, so the white supremacists hate Jews, and the black supremacists hate Jews. He's like, well, it's just nice to see these two groups coming together on something.
You know, it's tough. It's tough these days to make it if you're not hating a group of people, at least.
Yes, if you can claim any minority status, dude, fucking go for it.
But only if you're a white woman.
I'm 164th Indian. I am 164th Native American. I am oppressed.
I'll write that powwow chow book.
Oh god, that was so fucking awful. Yes,
yeah,
I'm from the landlocked tribe in fucking... I'm from the landlocked tribe in Oklahoma. I'm going to give you a crab bisque recipe.
Oh god.
It's about as far as from any fucking salt water as possible. Yeah, dude, I'm still amazed that Elizabeth is still in office. It's fucking bizarre, dude. And she's just so fucking awful. And yeah, so many lies she's been caught in, and yeah, I'm still amazed that she got the DNA thing checked. And like it showed that she's like the whitest person on the fucking, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that she had like no fucking Native American blood at all.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, you have 2% South American tribe, or whatever. And she put it out like that was like, see, I told you.
And everybody went, oh no, we don't see Elizabeth. No, I'm sorry, this is not working for you.
And yet, still in power. Still got her fucking position.
Oh yeah, well, of course. I mean, you didn't expect her to not be, like, hired again.
Yeah. I thought the voters would be like, look, you can get another Democrat in here, but get this bitch the fuck out of here. The primary, or at least.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm sure, yeah, she's way too entrenched, fucking, in the establishment, or whatever you want to call it.
I'd like her not to be in office, and I live in California, so you think it wouldn't be that complicated, you know, just vote for her, but yeah, no. I genuinely think most, if not all, of the elections in California at this point are, like, just hopelessly rigged.
Yeah. Would not be surprising at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, but you do see, although to be fair, you do see in some rural areas, like, conservatives winning elections, but I think that's just because it's not worth the money to rig it everywhere. Because, like, if you control, like, you know, the major cities and whatnot, then you pretty much control the whole state, whether or not the mayor of Podunk fucking town in you know, the fucking out in the boonies of California where no one goes, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, as long as it's not affecting their power overall. So as long as they have like a good 60% of the stuff, they're like, that's good enough.
Yep.
Let the peasants have their little fucking counties or whatever, cities and counties.
Yeah. Because there were people when California tried to do this, one of the gun control things they were trying to do. I forget which one it was, but there were a few like sheriffs and like mayors who were like, not in our fucking city. Like, I ain't enforcing that shit. It's very obviously violates the Constitution. I want nothing to do with your bullshit. I ain't doing it.
Yeah, that shit is encouraging. Although places ignoring the Supreme Court decisions is pretty goddamn disturbing on the other end of things.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking weird. Like, that's not a normal thing. But it does go to demonstrate how I was saying, like, they have no ability to enforce their fucking, their rulings, the Supreme Court. Like, so anybody who gets, like, in the executive branch can just be like, nope, not doing it. So I hope that gets resolved soon.
Yeah, what is the law in regards to that kind of thing? Like, what if you are just literally saying, fuck you, fuck the Supreme Court decision?
Well, then it would come down to the executive branch to enforce the law. So it would be up to the president to say, like, all right, well, starting now, no more federal funds. You know, or we're gonna take away all the vehicles we loaned your various different organizations are gone. The FBI is no longer going to help your police looking into any crimes because we can't guarantee that you're not violating somebody's constitutional rights that way. And that's where you would start, like sort of embargoes and stuff from the president or Congress in general doing that. But I don't think you're going to see that. Because, you know, obviously Biden's the one at the top of the fucking tree. And, you know, he wants us to not have guns because then if he rigs the election, you don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't want to rig the election and then get shot for it. He wants to rig the election and then stay president. Keep making more money.
Yeah, well, it worked the first time.
They're not bringing the ex-president of the United States a bunch of 6-year-olds to rape. But the president, yeah, they'll do that.
Yeah, he can sniff all the hair he wants, dude. Yeah, but dude, it's fuck. I did not see what actually happened, but he had another senior moment, where he was just kind of wandering around the stage or whatever.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, seems to be pretty much every outing now.
Well, and then like numerous occasions where he just started waving at things that aren't on stage, like he's just waving his arm randomly at nothing in the middle of the air.
Yeah, shaking hands of people that are not anywhere near.
Yeah, it's like, dude is obviously out of his fucking gourd, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that they wanted to try to fucking, like, get rid of Trump when he was in office with that shit. You know, saying he wasn't fucking, like, mentally...
stable?
Yeah, yeah. And you're letting this
when you look
dude
at Biden
fucking...
and you're like, wow, what's your definition of mentally stable, folks? Like...
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, it must be really loose because... That dude's fucking out to lunch. Like, obviously, he's out of his fucking mind.
Yeah, like, he was pretty bad already. But, yeah, since he got in office, it's getting very, like, fucking progressively worse very quickly.
Oh, yeah. Well, the one of the things that, you know, everybody talks about how, like, the president ages really, really fast.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just... physically, they don't age super fast just in the way they look. They just age super fast altogether. Like,
yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, that job in general, I guess, has to be pretty fucking. Well, maybe not for Biden, because I don't think he realizes he's president like 90% of the time. So he's probably not wearing too heavily on his mind. But yeah, you look back at Obama, like when he got elected to when he was done, like 8 years later. He looks like 20 to 25 years older.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm sure Biden's mental state is deteriorating at the same rate his physical state would be deteriorating like normally. As president, you know.
Although it's something that would probably be happening whether he was president or not. He's just that fucking old. He's that far fucking gone.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's because he's president right now. I just think that because he's
Yeah,
president,
it's just
is
he's
why
old,
it
yeah.
hasn't taken very long. Why it went so fast.
Yeah.
But then again, what do I fucking know?
Yeah, but like I said, there have been, you know, it's getting more and more common when he's hearing Mr. President and not realizing they're talking to him.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
Well, where's the president? I want to smell his hair too. Where's the president? Oh wait, me? Oh yeah, that's
his
right.
hair too. Oh man.
Not really. The president would never be a, you know, an 8-year-old girl. So.
Yeah. Let's not count that out permanently for the future.
Right.
At some point, I mean, weren't they fucking talking about letting 16-year-olds vote? The fucking Democrats were so desperate to try to rig the elections that they want to let like children, literally fucking children, vote in elections.
Yeah, honestly, if anything, it should be moved back.
Right? Yeah, it's absolutely fucking insane. If anything, it should be 21.
Yeah. The drinking age and the voting age should probably be the same.
Although, to be fair, if they do that, I would like to see the military age be 21. Like, you can't be conscripted until you're 21.
Yeah, that would only be fair, man. It's like you can sign your life away to have to go fight in a fucking war, but you can't vote or fucking drink.
Yeah. It's pretty ridiculous a lot of the time.
Indeed. Shit, what happened to Samaj?
I don't know. He just disappeared one time for I don't know
dipped,
why.
huh?
He did. I say he did. Poor Coolio. Inevitably, it's probably drugs and age and like blood pressure and shit. Just like all got at once. Because he apparently died like at his friend's house. Like he was hanging out with his buddy and then just fucking croaked it.
Fucking keeled over, man. Shit.
But that's how it goes, man. You get old and they start dropping like flies.
Yeah, like I said, that's like later Asian years, dude.
Yeah. I don't know.
So yeah, what else is happening? Nothing, huh?
I don't know. Just kind of
things and stuff. Things that involve
let me
stuff
see.
are happening.
Let me check the Discord real quick. I might have one or two more things going on there.
Yeah, there's gotta be something in there.
Sorry?
I can talk about the puppy for a while if you want.
Oh God! Quick, find something.
Oh shit!
Oh, it's Samaj. Hey, you back, yo?
Yeah.
Oh, we were talking about the hoping the Deadpool comes out soon. That seemed kind of cool.
See, okay.
Potentially.
it comes off to me. It comes off as very desperate because Disney has been fighting this Deadpool movie for a long time. See, Kevin Feige, he loves Deadpool, favorite superhero, but Disney doesn't like Deadpool because he's R-rated.
Oh yeah, because they can't sell fucking dolls to little kids.
Exactly. So the R-rated stuff doesn't work, and they don't like it. They don't want to do R-rated related anything. But Disney right now or Marvel in particular, is not in a good state. They're in such a bad state right now because She-Hulk is actively turning people away from the platform. Like actively, people have stopped watching or stopped signing up to Disney Plus because of She-Hulk. And apparently,
wow.
Yeah. So, Doomcock is the one who brought it up, and he was guessing like Disney insiders and all that. And they said it was episode 2 that turned people off. And it was because I think it was episode. I don't know if you guys watched She-Hulk, but I believe it was episode 2 where she had this. She was talking down to Bruce Banner, like the Hulk, saying like how, as a woman, I deal with anger way better than you.
Sketch, yes, that pissed off a lot of people.
It's like, and everyone on the internet
and
was
it wasn't even like a sexist thing so much. It's just like everybody was like, Bruce Banner watched his father murder his mother in front of his fucking face as a child, right? And you're comparing that to a couple of fucking catcalls.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Even the shit that's happened to him as the Hulk.
Yeah,
it was just, fucking
beyond the pale. Essentially,
it was ridiculous.
It was absolutely disrespectful. It was very, very cruel, very rude, and that was pretty much the point where people stopped watching. But people have been tuning out from Marvel a lot, and part of the reason is because there's too much. It used to be you'd have you'd have like 3 movies a summer. That's not a big deal. 3 movies, that's fine. That's manageable. But it's not just that anymore. You've had multiple movies. You had multiple TV shows. There's a lot of things you have to catch up on. And now they're making it so that you have to. Because if you watched like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, you'd have to watch WandaVision to know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah,
not everyone has Disney Plus. And that show didn't do very well. I mean, it did well because it was the first show, but not well enough. It wasn't that good of a show. So,
yeah, that's not surprising.
Yeah, and so consecutively, every show that came out, they lost more and more and more viewers. And so, like, Loki was supposed to be the setup for the big new MCU stuff. And
oh god, really?
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be Kang the Conqueror. He's the new Thanos. That's the whole thing, and that show was terrible, just terrible. And they introduced this new character, Sylvie or whatever. Awful.
Oh, their attempt at making a female Loki.
Oh yeah, that was awful. There was already a female Loki in the comics. She was
a terrible character and a terrible actress for that role. It was just like, oh.
Yeah, and she's the bestest ever at everything. Like, really? Seriously? So a lot of things just didn't fall into place. It just wasn't very good. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, awful show. WandaVision, I wanted to like it, but then towards the end, it's like, oh, I didn't. None of that, nothing paid off. It was all terrible.
Yeah, because I love that concept, dude. With her, her reality warping powers and all that shit. I absolutely love that concept, dude. But yeah,
the idea itself had a lot of potential. The execution was awful.
Well, and things just didn't make sense towards the end because she literally imprisoned an entire town and forced people to do stuff against their will. I mean, like Vision would walk around and he'd see women or see people just doing stuff they don't want to do, crying. There was even a part where her spell was broken and the people were begging for death. Like, this is your hero? This is your hero, really? It was awful. And then towards the end she flies away, and then there was that Monica Rambeau woman or whoever the supposed to be the Black Captain Marvel, and she says to her, "They'll never know what you sacrificed for this people." Like, she fucking ruined the lives of thousands of people.
How is that a sacrifice? You didn't sacrifice anything.
Yeah.
Oh, and it came
Yeah,
off.
they're
You
literally trying to
sacrifice
make her
those
like a
people
fucking
on the
Christ
fucking
figure.
altar of your own fucking ego. Like, give me a fucking break.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, I don't know, that whole show was awful. Just awful when you think about it. I wanted to like it, but there's nothing to like.
At the end, what would have made sense is if Vision fucking killed Wanda. Like, judging from what was being said.
God damn it.
Like, Vision gets his fucking, what do you call it, stone back, and just is like, alright, peace out, Wanda, you're fucking done.
Just fucking blink her out of existence, dude. Like,
Like,
yeah, like
I
I said, the
can't
Scarlet
let
Witch
you
is...
survive. You've done all these horrible things to all these people. Be irresponsible of me to allow you to continue to live.
Like, if they didn't try to spin it as a happy ending or as a positive note, I mean, and because like she's spoilers to anyone who hasn't seen Multiverse of Madness, but she's literally the villain of the movie, and I don't mind that, like heroes becoming villains and stuff. I can get behind it, considering the kind of character that she is.
There's a lot of really well-known characters that kind of ride that middle ground. Like Punisher definitely is one of those. Like, could be the hero, could be the villain. It's hard to tell which.
Yeah, any vigilante type, because I guess you could technically say the same about Batman. Like, he's not as extreme as Punisher.
Batman's a giant vagina, though. He's just a big-ass pussy. You should call him Pussy Bat.
Like
oh, here comes Pussy Bat. He's not going to kill anybody. Ooh, he's so fucking powerful.
Well, I mean, we could say that all we want, but he makes money.
No, no, the movies make money for sure.
That's the argument.
I actually
always
like Batman. He's one of the few. I don't like much of DC, to be honest, but
I enjoy
like
watching Batman. That's just my pet peeve about that, just in general,
well,
like that
my
logical
pet peeve,
sort of conundrum that they come up with in all their fucking stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like I think we've discussed it before, where you're like, not just killing Joker is kind of unethical.
Well, there's that, but I mean, a lot of people tend to make the argument that like Punisher is better because he actually kills them, and then that's the end of their stuff. But from a purely marketing standpoint, Punisher's the worst character because
you got to constantly come up with new villains.
Yep, constantly, and because he's always killing them. It's like, okay, well, how? And not only that, like the villain that they do have, you can't exactly resell them. It's like, okay, well, I'll resell like this gangster, and he'll be like an action hero, but then no one buys it because he's dead. It's not like they're very cool. Like, how many drug dealers are you gonna kill? How many arms dealers are you gonna kill? And then you try to make him look cool, but in the end, he's gonna kill him anyways. It's like, what's the point?
It's like, why bother even fucking naming it? Just call him fucking evil henchman #1, evil fucking crime boss #1.
Like, don't even give them names. So yeah, Punisher's a hard one to work with. Circling back there onto
I can see that being a real issue for the writer. Like every fucking week, I got to come up with another villain to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, although it always is minor ones like that. Like obviously, he's not murdering the Kingpin and not permanently knocking him out of existence.
Like, if you get a villain that's always getting away, I mean, that's a little bit more intriguing. They're harder to kill. Like, the Kingpin, he's a perfect one. You have to work your way up to get to him. And that's not always that easy.
And then by the time you get to the Kingpin, he himself is pretty fucking tough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not a pushover. You're not just going to walk up and kick his ass like the Joker's not very tough.
Like,
the Riddler. The Riddler's just a giant pussy. Like, you can beat him up real easy.
Yeah. Kingpin in like the first season of Daredevil, I loved him. He was an excellent villain, great performance. It's just it's a shame, and I know the actor wants to come back and do more Kingpin, but he wants to do a good Kingpin, like season 1 Daredevil, because I think when he came back, he was kind of a joke. I never watched him in Punisher. I think he was in Punisher. I kind of clicked out of Netflix Marvel because a lot of it was just like Iron Fist was such a slugfest. I could not stand Iron Fist. It was an awful show.
I loved Iron Fist. I guess different opinions on everything.
God damn it. How many times did they say Danny Rand? Like, what's his name? Danny Rand. How many times did they mention his name in one episode? A lot.
Danny Rand. No, that's not the answer. It's not a lot. It's Danny Rand. How many times did they say his name? Danny Rand. What kind of birthday cake does he like? Danny Rand. Did I tell you?
Like Daredevil, I got because it was good. Part of the other problem I had is like you could tell like Iron Fist was rushed because the lighting was horrendously bad.
Oh yeah.
I remember one scene where like what's her name was like bandaging him up, and they were in such a dark room, and it was like the lighting was just non-existent. It's like, are you guys just calling action? Like you know, going to the break room and calling action? It's just that's what it feels like. Like with Daredevil, they had these epic fight scenes and moments like that. The hallway scene in particular was always the coolest shit. Like we got a hallway, fucking let's get on. The other one I had a hard time. The other one I had a hard time with was Luke Cage. I really wanted to like that show, but boy, that got boring fast.
Yeah, I don't know. He was good in Jessica Jones. I kind of like that. Well, the first season anyway. Of Jessica Jones.
I feel bad for not watching Jessica Jones. I really should have given that show a go.
Yeah, at least the first season, dude, is really good. Dude, it's David Tennant.
Honestly,
man.
I would only watch the first season of Jessica Jones. Like the rest of it's pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But the first season is legit. It's a really great show for the first season all the way through, and then just
fucking
don't
awesome.
bother with the sequel. It's just not worth your time.
Is there more than 2 seasons?
There's 3 seasons, I thought.
No, there could be. I don't think I ever bothered watching the 3rd season.
And then there was a Luke Cage show, but that was equally just terrible. It was boring.
There was a
and
team.
stupid.
There was a team up season called the Defenders.
Yeah, I watched that. That was kind of like, that was pretty dumb. And it was only like 4 episodes long, right? Like it wasn't even like a really like good show. It was just like a short, kind of like a short movie in between the seasons.
I think part of the reason for that was because there were so many characters and the budget was higher on that one, so they couldn't do as many episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, plus they got what is it like? I'm sure like the paying the main actors and stuff was way higher.
Yeah. Well, I think they cut some of the budgets for the second season from a lot of these shows because they were nowhere near as entertaining as the previous season. Not as many writers.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's kind of tough to be that entertaining when all the stories have to have all this political narrative. There's no room left for like an actual story.
Speaking of story-related stuff, with Daredevil, they keep hinting that Daredevil's going to show up in the She-Hulk show. I haven't finished it. I'm pretty sure he's not showing up. They showed his helmet in one scene. I'm like, oh, okay. So is that our Easter egg? Is that it?
Yeah, I imagine Ryan Reynolds doesn't come cheap, and the budgets for these things don't look like they're that big, honestly.
Well, She-Hulk in particular was bad because that's when the animators started, complaining because the animators are getting overworked like crazy, animating all these CGI moments, and then they have to do the movies, and everything's starting to look worse and worse and worse as time goes on. She-Hulk looks really bad. I don't know if you guys ever saw this.
I've watched people do videos talking about it. I've never watched the show. But all of the clips are like, oh, is that really like a premium service? Because that looks like a shitty YouTube video.
And it was. And one of the scenes from the trailer, surprisingly, was still in the show. Apparently, there's a scene where She-Hulk is checking her phone, and she makes this like surprised face. And what was fucked up about it is that her left eye is looking at the phone, her right eye is looking at the screen, like at the viewer.
Are you fucking serious? That's hilarious.
That's fucking great.
It was in the trailer, and then it ended up in the show. I'm like, how the fuck did you miss that one? How could you possibly? But then you realize that the animators are being overworked, and a lot of them have complained. And I think one of the animation studios said they're not going to work with Disney because a lot of them aren't getting paid very well right now, so they want to be paid a fair rate. Which,
Oh, well,
fine,
everybody
fair
wants
enough.
to be paid a fair rate of pay right now. That's like the big thing, because it's like all these people are realizing, wait, I can't live off of like my paycheck. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, this is fucked up. And I don't think a lot of people realize that that's all basically fallout from Biden's like economic bullshit, plus all the COVID lockdowns and whatnot.
Well, and
Just starting
Disney's
to finally come home to roost, man.
well,
yeah,
and
dude, gas is back up to over $5 a gallon. Like, it went up in like a week's time. It was like that, and now like within like less than a week and a half, less than 10 days for sure, it is up to $4.99 again.
Yeah, which is not surprising considering that Biden got into office, immediately shut down all of the like all American
the
drilling,
pipelines.
all the pipelines, and was like, I'm going to shut down the oil companies for good. It's like, all right, well, when the gas goes up, and he won't let any new refineries be built, which is a big problem.
Yeah, and then when he pulls out a fucking shitload of the strategic oil reserves, he sells $1 billion of it to China.
Oh yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, from what I understand, like our oil reserves now are incredibly low.
Yeah, he put this country in a serious amount of risk. Like, it's not. It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, no, his. Yeah, again, if the media was even like remotely objective, like it should be talking about how historically bad his presidency has been already.
Oh yeah, for our economy, it's absolutely horrific, like comparatively.
Yeah.
Like, there's not even a question. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's
just shit. Like, I mean, it's almost like by design to just keep doing more fucked up shit to try to fucking draw attention away from the previous fucked up shit. It's like, who's still talking about how bad he fucked up Afghanistan?
Oh yeah, when he just left a bunch of our people to fucking die.
Yeah. Well, first he pissed off down at the deal that was already just to fucking try to, I don't know, make Trump look bad or something.
Did you see that horrific video of the one guy who tried to hop onto the plane as it was taking off and he got stuck and he ended up losing his torso?
Oh. No, but I heard about videos of ladies throwing their babies over the fence trying to get them out in time.
Yep.
And what they didn't know is that there was barbed wire on the other side. So they were just chucking their own fucking babies into barbed wire fences.
Yep. It was that. The torso one is the one that freaked me because someone posted it on like Twitter. It took me a moment to look at what was going on. And I realized, oh fuck, that's someone's lower torso.
Like, I just watched a person come apart. That's kind of fucking fucked up.
Yeah. So like when I saw that there, I'm like, oh yeah. Biden's the worst. Absolutely the worst.
Yeah, he's one of the worst presidents in history. He has one of the lowest ratings in the history of presidents. Like, it's...
Well, and see, like, I knew he had the lowest even before he became president. Because, like, you look at his turnout, wasn't very good. It wasn't...
Yeah. Nobody wanted to vote for Biden. Like, he definitely lost that election. Like, we all know that.
Yeah, we know that that's fake. Yeah. But the thing is that we have to weigh him out, because even if we do discover all of that, like... What can you do? He's just going to sue, and he's going to, live out his term. So a lot of times, you just, like, how many more years you got left? 2? Like, you barely survived this much.
Well, what we hope is that we get a majority in the House and the Senate of Republicans, so that basically his presidency is neutered.
Yeah,
because they can counteract and take away and prevent a lot of the stuff that he could do that could get worse.
Yep.
Like, say he tries to make a new TTP or something along those lines. Like, yeah, like you could get, we definitely need to concentrate on the midterms and be pushing that for Republicans and conservatives. And anybody, honestly, it's not even really a conservative versus Democrat. It's like if you like being able to afford to eat food, because there are already people who are in a situation where they literally have to take out loans to get groceries every so like on a monthly basis. Like, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have similar things here in Canada too. It's a global thing. Hopefully there could be some changes. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm glad that people are waking up and putting an end to this. I hope enough get angry to make a change.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah,
you know, like a lot of this is like the change was already happening. So things are probably going to get crazier before they get better. They're going to try and do as much damage as they can. Here in Canada, Trudeau was pretty much passing this thing where he's doing a gun grab. He wants to get he's trying to get the RCMP, that's our like police service here, to actually confiscate people's guns. So,
when they're like, nope, we're not doing it.
Well, here in Alberta, in my province, yeah, the premiers and all are saying like, no, we're advising the RCMP to disregard the orders of the Prime Minister. And they were quite public with it, making sure everyone knew and heard about that. So now it's a matter of like, because the Trudeau can still say to the RCMP, yeah, you know, go out there and do it, and they may still do it, even though the Prime Minister says so. We'll see what happens. I would hope that the RCMP listens to the government here in Alberta and say no, but that is yet to be seen. They also said that because we have an increase in crime as well due to all the poverty and all that's happening, so it would be stupid to take police off the police force just to take away guns from people.
Really.
Yeah.
Not to mention that if you're literally disarming the populace in the middle of a crime wave, like, what are they supposed to do?
Well, here in Canada, you can't use guns to defend yourself, which is stupid.
Oh, that's just fucking wrong.
Yep. So, luckily, because all this is being brought up, a lot of people are rethinking, like, why do we have this as our policy? Why do we have this as our law? Or why can't you defend yourself? So
yeah, like, who thought this was a good idea?
Yeah. So hopefully this will all be brought back, and we can all have a conversation about it. Because this has been going on for quite a while. Because most people, like, crime isn't really a huge problem here in Canada, so we don't have a reason to have guns. But now that crime's becoming a problem, well, maybe we should consider it. Even though the politicians are trying to push it, it's like we need to get a handle on gun crime. And to be fair, there is an increase in gun crime here in Canada, but a lot of that crime is happening because of illegal guns being smuggled into the United States. Partially also because of, we have this thing called Roxon Road, which is an unguarded border area from Quebec, or from America into Quebec. So a lot of people illegally immigrant through Roxon Road just walk over the border, and then, oh, well, you're in Canada now. And apparently it's perfectly legal. So you can smuggle in all the guns you want. I mean, we have a fentanyl crisis here as well, so that's probably coming through there. No one's watching them. Come on in.
Yep. Well, a lot of the problems in all of the countries right now stem from all the people they brought in. Just as a general issue, too. It's like a big part of the housing issue is you have millions more people who are willing to just live like 20 people to one bedroom and be happy to pay $5,000 for that bedroom, you know, like a month.
Well, and it doesn't help that, like, a lot of places they're building up apartment complexes in neighborhoods, and you would think, oh yeah, it's cheap housing for people. Well, not really. Well,
no.
Like, who comes with cheap housing? Oh, people who can afford cheap housing. That's the lower class of people, and that'll lower the value of your homes.
Yeah, no, they're not building cheap housing for people. That's not true. I don't know who said that, because everything I've seen you're looking at like, $1,500 a month for a fucking studio apartment in most cases. And a studio apartment is not high class fucking housing.
No, well, it also depends on where you're going. Like you can get them for about maybe $1,000 a month here in my area.
Not here, yeah. I was gonna say not in the U.S.
Well, that depends on where in the U.S. You probably can get that in like Democrat-run areas, and you could say they could tout that as I made a housing affordable. Well, I mean, not really. Not to mention, like where these condos are being built. Like I said, they're in suburban areas, and the problem with these, or apartments or whatever, and the problem is like you bring in lower class people, which lowers the value, which is what's been going on. Which actually, if you heard about BlackRock, because they're buying up all these houses.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a bunch of fucking empty houses and apartments all over the place now because of BlackRock.
Well, yeah, and what they're doing is they're going to tear it all down, build up apartments, bring in lower class people, lower the value of the houses around it because the quality of people that come over aren't the greatest. And then when the value goes down because of all the crime and stuff that increases, they'll buy up the other houses for cheap. And that's the idea. That's the plan. We're going to buy up places, build apartments, bring in lower class people, lower the price, so then you can buy more houses for cheap. That's why they're buying houses. Like they don't care how much they have to pay for a house. It could be a lot of money. It doesn't fucking matter. Once you build up that building, you can buy all the other houses, at a bargain rate, which is what they're planning to do. So you'll see neighborhoods that are totally vacant, and the only reason they haven't started building is they have to get the workers, and that's the other thing they're going to say. Oh, we're creating jobs, or we're giving work to the working class, which is what they're going to do, and it's going to work. People are going to do it, but
the jobs they're creating are often part-time, minimum wage jobs or temporary work that's not going to last long enough to pay anybody for anything.
Well, if it's general labor, because like if you need construction workers and all that kind of stuff, you're paying a fair bit of money to get it done. The property itself might not be the greatest, though. So, so BlackRock, I mean, they get to decide because it's all legal. They can do that, and they probably will, provided like maybe if lawmakers might find a way to not give them the permit to build. Who knows? That might work. I don't know how you fight this. These are people actively working against the best interest of people.
Yeah, I don't know what you do with it, because that is a tough one. You can't really just tell them, well, you're not allowed to do that because...
Mm-hmm. Maybe, homeowners associations might be able to come in and work against them and say, hey, yeah, this is what you're clearly planning to do. Like this is going to actively hurt me. And it might. I mean, those homeowner associations better be good for something.
Not really. Homeowners associations are primarily a way for a small group of busybodies to control a neighborhood.
Yeah.
It almost always works out that way. It's almost never like a positive thing. I've yet to hear any story about a homeowners association that ended positively. That didn't involve the person basically getting out of the homeowners association.
I imagine that the bad ones you can find in abundance, but the good ones not so much. I imagine if things work as they're supposed to, you're not going to hear about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, but everything I've ever heard is that they're bad, but...
Yeah, I think so.
There's almost nothing that's universal like that. So I'm sure somewhere out there are decent homeowners associations that I haven't heard about, but still, it's kind of tough to figure out.
Far between.
Yeah,
they're fucking in the ass, dude. Yeah, I've never experienced it because the one house I bought, the main reason I bought it in that development was because there wasn't an HOA.
All right. Man, I have too many chickens. There's way too many chickens in there.
Time to whip up some teriyaki sauce and get killing.
Hell yeah. Teriyaki chicken. That's true. Teriyaki chicken is delicious.
Mmm.
It is delightful.
Teriyaki chicken.
Actually, I made that not long. I made teriyaki pork chops. That's what it was. Not teriyaki chicken. It came out pretty darn good.
Oh, now I want chicken.
Get some chicken.
Get some chicken.
I've started putting buffalo wing sauce on everything.
Really, buffalo wing sauce. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, usually like barbecue, like a mixture of like barbecue sauce and like buffalo sauce. So spicy barbecue sauce, essentially. Like even on like fucking like a roast and shit like that. It's actually pretty goddamn good.
To be fair, it's not like the size or cut of the meat is going to make it like. Well, no, the cut of the meat might make a difference, but it's not like the size of the meat's going to make a difference. Like just because you're not cooking ribs or something like a small thing like a chicken or something like that. I mean, it's like not okay to put sauce on a bigger piece of meat. It's like I've seen people eat steak with ketchup. I mean, whatever, dude. Like,
yeah, whatever works.
What you like.
Judging. I mean, I will judge, but I won't be out loud about it.
I mean, if it's not going to my mouth, I don't give a shit.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, whatever you want to do, as long as I'm not required to do it too. I don't care. Do whatever you want. I don't got no problem with it.
Someone
Maybe
tells me
steak on ketchup is delicious.
If someone tells me they're going to have wasabi, someone tells me they're going to have wasabi sauce on their corn on the cob, I'm thinking there's something wrong with you. You know, you're clearly a psychopath.
I don't know, man. I thought the same thing when it was. I watched a dude putting ketchup all over his mac and cheese, and I was like, I could sit here and be, all judgmental about this shit, or
you should,
or I could go and fucking what do you call it?
Give it a shot.
Give it a shot. See what it's like. I mean, odds are I'll like it. And then I tried it. And it was actually pretty tasty. And I still put me some what do you call it? Ketchup on my mac and cheese most of the time. It's really good.
Yeah, I like a hot sauce, dude, like a Louisiana hot sauce or something like that.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, that'd be good too.
Yeah, actually, ketchup and the hot sauce. Like that's usually a nice mixture of. I'll do that for if I have like breaded shrimp or fish, any of that kind of shit, just ketchup with some hot sauce, like Louisiana hot sauce or whatever, is usually really good.
Louisiana hot sauce,
or any of those Red Devil, whatever the fuck you want to call them. The ones where it's essentially cayenne pepper and fucking vinegar and water, salt.
What if it was like one of those really, really hot sauces?
Yeah, the ones that don't actually taste good.
The ones that might not taste good, but you tend to question your choices in life.
Yeah, no, I never understood eating because it's hot. Like if it's super hot and it tastes good, like okay, that makes sense. But when it doesn't,
I've always wanted to have an ulcer.
Manhood or whatever. Yeah, it seems pretty fucking silly.
I've always wanted to have an ulcer. Let's give it a go.
I can't just burn a hole straight through my stomach.
Yeah,
burn myself a new asshole. I'm at it.
It's fucking good. Oh,
burn a hole in the middle of your stomach. Yeah, I like that plan. There's nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, no, I remember like my ex-father would make this fucking salsa and shit that was fucking really hot, but really fucking good. And I would always be eating it, dude. And like, like when I first started doing that, he would basically like fucking talk shit to his sons. He was like, "Look at this, dude. This white boy will eat this, and my own sons won't even eat it."
Ha.
I'm like, dude, it's fucking hot. It's burning, but it's goddamn good. It tastes so goddamn good.
You gonna let this white boy show you up?
Shit.
Was he black or something? Like, what was the deal here?
Mexican.
No, Mexican, dude. Come on.
Oh, Mexican.
Come on, dude.
Mexicano.
And it was salsa, dude.
I suppose.
Yeah,
That's
black people
black.
eat salsa. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm sure they do. I'm sure there's black people that make hot salsa that's tasty, but
I'm
it wouldn't
sure
be my first guess if somebody said salsa.
I'm sure you can put hot sauce on breaded chicken. It's fine. Fried chicken. Fuck! I am very hungry. I need to go make myself some supper. It's like
Yeah, dinner just
couple
got
hours.
announced to me a minute or two ago. I was gonna say it's probably about time to roll out.
Oh shit! Yeah,
probably.
it's 6:30, man. Fucking A.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Fucking call it.
Sounds good. All right.
Yeah.
I'm off.
Anybody? All right. Peace out.